This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
Disclaimer. All views expressed on What Makes Us Fire are solely those of the person or persons giving them. What Makes Us Fire does not represent or claim to represent any particular city or fire department, and therefore make the claim that all views and standpoints are affiliated with What Makes Us Fire and with What Makes Us Fire only. Any mention of certain fire departments or cities within the interviews are solely for informational and opinion-based dialogue. In short, if you have a problem with what's published, just say something about it and don't be a Richard.
What is up, What Makes Us Fire family? This is Josh, your host of the What Makes Us Fire podcast, founder of the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to helping our civil service members, be it military or first responder, active retired veteran, and our volunteers get and receive inpatient mental health treatment. And the way we do that is we make sure that the financial aspect of going and getting that treatment is not a deciding factor on whether or not our civil service members go and get the help that they are looking for. It's too often that we are faced with the choice of going and helping ourselves or continuing to provide for our family. Well, with What Makes Us Fire, that is no longer an issue. They'll go. We'll take care of the treatment. We'll supplement their income. We'll take care of their mortgage, their car note, their rent, their groceries. The idea is to not let a civil service member feel like they have to sacrifice anything else to get better for themselves. They already sacrifice way too much. If you would like to learn a little bit more about What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation, you can visit www.whatmakesusfire.com. There you can also check out what we're about, get some What Makes Us Fire swag like this hat, shirts, beanies, tank tops, sweatshirts, bikinis, shorts, pretty much anything. All proceeds go to the general fund of the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation. If you are somebody looking to want to sponsor the What Makes Us Fire podcast or the foundation, you could also find that information there as well. I want to thank the Spagnoletti Law Firm for being the What Makes Us Fire legal counsel. If you need any type of legal counsel or legal help, please reach out to the Spagnoletti Law Firm here in the Houston, Texas area. They work nationwide, people. They'll help you. Trust me. I also want to give a big shout out to the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, a podcast network dedicated to having podcasts that are run by, produced by, and hosted by civil service members. Give them a listen. Go show the support. All right. On the show today, I have returning guests, Mr. and Mrs. Brian and Kendra Ward, creators and founders of the Forward Project. They created the Forward Project in the name of their son, Eric Ward, who was lost to the 22 a day. What they have done and what they have built in Eric's name is amazing. The awareness they're bringing, the support they're bringing to nonprofits and to other companies and corporations that are doing their best to chip away at this 22 a day is phenomenal. The idea, though, that they don't give enough credit to themselves, it bothered me. I'm not wanting to take anything away from Eric, of course, but what Brian and Kendra Ward don't realize is that their son was a product of them. And that's huge. Listen to their story. If you haven't listened to the first one, please go listen to the first one. It was a damn good story. And this is just us catching up. How this past year has grown us individually into something so much bigger than ourselves. And I think they're really surprised by it, when they shouldn't be. We need more people like them in the world. And I'm going to let you listen to find out why. So without further ado, please help me welcome Mr. and Mrs. Brian and Kendra Ward, founders and creators of the Forward Project.
That still freaks me out every time she says that. Recording.
Oh, that looks stupid.
Recording in progress. Trying to fix the camera angle here because
Let me get stray hairs off my shirt between the dogs and me. It's like the shedding fest.
Why do I look red? Oh, the color keeps changing. You notice that?
Why don't you adjust that maybe?
yeah, he doesn't want to look like Donald Trump.
No.
There you go,
God,
right
no.
there, right there. There you go.
Yeah, that's
That's way better. That's way better. Way better. How have you been? Both of you.
Good.
good.
Haven't had you guys on the show for a year. It's been a year.
Yeah, I was
It's been a
thinking about
year?
that
It's
earlier.
It's been about a year. Yep. Can you believe that?
Wow. Where'd the time go?
I have no idea where the time went. And even more so, look at how much you guys have fucking grown.
Isn't it crazy? Like none of this we just ever
Yeah.
could have thought about any of this.
It's insane. I
It
remember
is.
so we did the podcast before God dang it. See, ADHD, two different things. We did the podcast before the Vegas invasion last year, and then we finally met in Vegas, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Brian and Kendra, give you guys big hugs.
Yes, that was awesome.
I was really excited to see you guys, and I was really happy to finally meet you. But we've been keeping in touch since then, off and on. Obviously, we've both been really busy. Me with the personal stuff that I've been going through, and the nonprofit getting the 501c3. But you guys, I had you on my podcast, and all of a sudden, I'm hearing you on like 5 other podcasts. I'm seeing you on Fox News. I'm seeing you at NASCAR. I'm seeing like these freaking huge social media stars, and even a couple of TV stars and stuff, like talking about the Forward Project, and I'm just like,
I know.
but
Same here.
but I'll tell you what, I do take pride in saying I was the first podcast that you guys are on.
That's right.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
I was, and the funny thing was, like, Pedro Pops 951, I was his first podcast that he was on, and then all of a sudden,
that's
people are
cool.
reaching out to him to be on the podcast, and it's like, I am like the awesome stepping stone for everybody. I'm like that first step of people like going up, which I'm fine to be. I don't need to be a top dog or anything. Like, if I can help lift other people up, I'm all for it. But I'm like that first step nobody actually really cares about. Sometimes they skip, but
No. It shows you're doing a really good job because
Yeah.
you're featuring these people and highlighting the great things that they're doing, and it's getting other people interested, and that's a success.
it is a success. If I can help lift other people up that are making a difference, that's a huge success. It's a huge success.
Absolutely.
Brian and Kendra Ward, creators and founders of the Forward Project, What Makes Us Fire family, please say hi. And thank you guys for coming back on the show.
Oh, thank you for having us here again. It's great to see you.
Yep. Brian has not stopped that nervous smile at all. It's still there. So just a quick recap for everybody that doesn't know, Brian and Kendra Ward were on the What Makes Us Fire podcast about a year ago, and we got to talk about Forward Project and their son Eric and the drive behind the Forward Project. We also got to talk a little bit about how they met, and 7 weeks, and they've been married now for 20 plus years. So it's again, crazy as fuck, but you know, whatever. 7 weeks. I still can't get over that. 7 weeks.
26 years married.
And 26 over a quarter century married.
Right?
What the hell?
That's what our mom said. We had to call him and tell him after we got married because nobody knew.
Right. And then Eric was, of course, born shortly after, and everybody thought it was because he knocked you up.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah, everybody thought he knocked you up, and that's why you guys are getting married. But no, it wasn't that at all. It was just Brian. Brian saw a good thing and wanted to lock it down.
Yeah, Eric's due date was 9 months and 1 day after we got married.
Yeah,
you could just see everybody
doing the
counting in their
math,
heads,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It was ridiculous.
I'd be counting too.
I know.
But yeah, they were on the podcast, and how I met them was I saw a live that they were doing on the FYP, and they were talking about the Forward Project and what they were about, what they were doing, and the kind of awareness that they were bringing. And I just spammed them on their live. Hey, you guys want to do a podcast? Hey, you guys want to do a podcast? Hey, you guys want to do a podcast? Granted, I was still new into the podcasting thing, and I was still looking for guests that I thought would be great to have on the show. And that's what I was doing to find my guests. I would go through social media and go through news links and everything, trying to find people that are mental health forward within the civil service. Mm-hmm. Well, I came across your live, and you guys were talking about what you guys were doing, and I was just like, yes. And then I stalked you guys for a little bit. We called each other, got you on the podcast. We had an amazing conversation. We got to learn about Eric. We got to learn about your project and everything else. So we're not going to go too much into that. I want to learn what we're going to be talking about is, one, we're just going to talk because I haven't talked to you guys in a minute. But two, I want to talk about the growth that you guys have had since that first podcast, because there has been a shit ton of growth for you two. Yep. A lot of growth for you two. And I think you guys probably made a bigger impact on the social media and really just in general than I thought you guys were prepared for. Just from seeing what I'm seeing and some of the videos that you guys have put out, and just this, oh my God, I can't believe this. Oh my God, I can't believe, oh my God. It's always these, oh my God moments. And I couldn't be prouder for being a part and being a supporter of what you guys are doing. And again, they were on my show first, everybody. So back off. Again, I will take, look, I am not humble in that at all. I am not humble in that at all. I don't take credit for your success. I'm just saying they were on the What Makes Us Fire podcast. I remember when I asked you guys to be on the show, you guys were very surprised.
Yeah.
Well, I was, because I'm like, what's a podcast? Because I'm an idiot.
Why are you so old?
Why are you so old?
Come on, you guys aren't that old. They're not that old.
Yeah, I am.
But I remember you guys were kind of a little bit surprised, and I was surprised that nobody has ever asked you to come on and share your story, even like an interview or something of some sort. It looked like you guys are pretty established, with the foundation, but with Forward Project, which is technically a foundation. But I was surprised that you guys haven't been getting that recognition that you've gotten this past year.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we were on a few different types of social media for a few years, but it really wasn't until TikTok that everything exploded. She posted the very first video, and it just ran like wildfire. And all of a sudden, people are following us and asking questions. And, of course, with the rocks, everybody's like, oh, can I get a rock? And, but yeah, it was slow going for a long time until TikTok. But yeah, for some reason, that platform above all the others just exploded, and it's been great.
That's totally true across the board. Like right now, we have a video that we duetted of Eric's best friend placing a rock on top of a mountain in Mexico.
That one hit hard. That one.
Yeah, that was hard for us to.
Yeah.
We took a while before we actually made the response video to that,
just to be able to control ourselves, and that it was still really tough, but
Logan was his best friend, and the emotion you see from him in that video it's true, it's pure.
He
was hurting.
And I think that's why it's doing so well, because it's showing that it's okay to have those feelings, right? It's okay to feel that way when you lose someone. And go ahead.
There are a lot of comments on that video about, oh, I hate seeing men cry. And then the other end of it about, it's good that he can show his emotion and it's okay. And it's like, absolutely he can.
Yeah.
And that's part of this conversation too,
Mhm.
that, you know, men sometimes feel that they're not allowed to show emotion, or they're weak if they do, or it's wrong. And for so many reasons, whether you were in the military or not, but that's just a great example of a strong young man who looks great, is athletic, is smart, is a good person, all those things, whatever you extract from that video of who he is, but he's being real, and it's really raw too. And doing that on camera, not just in front of people, and he wasn't doing it for attention. He was doing it to honor Eric.
He was doing it to honor Eric, and he was making the video for you guys for Forward Project, because that's what you do. You on the back of the rock, make a video, please, and send it to us. So, you know, he was honoring and respecting your request for the rock that was given to him, but at the same time, he was showing respect and love to a brother that he lost. And, you know, is he strong? Hell yeah. The guy climbed the tallest mountain in Mexico. I mean, come on. And, you know, that was an accomplishment for him, and he was sharing it with you and Eric. That's huge. When people make huge accomplishments like this and they put a rock somewhere that means something to them, it's sharing what feels good to them and what brings them up and what gives them life with you and with Eric in his memory. And I think your rocks do more than just honor Eric's memory. It's what you guys are doing is allowing people to share a space that not a lot of people share with other people all the time, right? Places that make them feel important, good, proud, successful, things that like Eric's rock's still at my fire station. It's still there.
That's awesome.
And I keep a rock in my truck, and I keep a rock inside where I'm staying. That way, every time I always see that rock, because I'm either at work or at home or in my truck. Literally, those are the three places that I am all the time, because I'm always working. But it's always a reminder, and no one's came to pick up the rocks yet to move them. And if they do, I'll fight them. No, I won't.
Yeah,
I know the purpose. I know the purpose about them is to find them. But I think that you guys are getting so many rocks out there that sooner or later nobody's going to need to move anything, because everybody's going to know about what you guys are about and the attention you're bringing to the cause, and that is to fight the 22 a day. I am in awe, like I said before, of the growth that you guys have made since I last had you on the podcast. And I want to go through that a little bit, and I want to know how that kind of not only affected your life with being busy and everything, but what kind of emotions did that bring out? What kind of feelings did knowing that your purpose to remember your son, not only that, but to bring awareness for others, it is being adopted in a way that can only be described as amazing. So let's dive into that. I had you guys on the show, and it was before April of last year. And at that point, it was still just the rocks and going live every now and then on social media to spread awareness and stuff. And people could purchase a rock, make a video, stuff like that. It wasn't at the level that it is now. But now you guys are getting attention from news networks. You guys are getting attention from very, very large social media influencers and creators, even some TV actors and stuff like that. And, musicians, very large musicians, and they're reaching out to you guys, and you guys are creating these connections that weren't there before, that started happening after the show. So I've always like, oh, that's so awesome for them. That's freaking amazing for them and stuff like that. So take us through that. Like, what did that growth look like after the show? Because after the show, a lot of people, they'll come onto the podcast, do the show, and then they're like, yeah, I was on a podcast, no big deal. But you guys
did the podcast, and then Brian reached out to you guys because I told him to, from IGY622.
Yeah.
And you guys started getting more offers and more things to talk about y'all's mission. What was that like for you guys?
Very surprising and kind of weird because it's not anything we ever intended. You know, the things that we make, especially the rocks, they were just meant to honor Eric and remember him. And, you know, kind of a secondary purpose of, for me, it just helped with my anxiety. Making things, keeping my hands busy was a real help. I could focus, and it was related to him. So I wanted to do it, and I didn't have motivation to do a lot of things for quite a while. So it was really helpful for me in multiple levels to do all of that. But, you know, when we started on TikTok, we started being in front of the camera, and we had not been in front of the camera before. I don't like being in front of the camera. Sorry, I'm on a podcast, but yeah. I don't. And, you know, for my job, I manage over 100 social media channels, and I am never seen because I'm in control of them. I don't have to be seen. I feature other people, and that's what I like to do, and that's what I'm used to doing. So it's really difficult to flip that switch. And a lot of people are on social media because they want to build personal connections and they like being seen, which is great. My role is to not be seen. That's what I'm used to. So, you know, that was a hard switch. And I would try to make him do videos because I didn't want to do them, you know? Yes.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
We've seen some of Brian's solo videos.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, you know, that's great. He enjoys that. So I'd rather have him do that. But it's, people recognize our account as an us account, and telling our story, and that needs to be there. So, you know, to tell Eric's story accurately and represent him, that's what we always want to be first. It is then developed into these other things of raising money for other organizations. And, you know, that is our purpose of what we do, to help other people, those other organizations that are equipped to help other people. You know, some people reach out to us saying, my friend is suicidal. Can you talk to them? We're not trained to do something like that. You know, we want them to be okay, and we will give them words of encouragement, but they need to work with a professional or someone who is better equipped for that.
Yeah.
You know, we're still in our grieving process. So even for our well-being, we have to make some decisions like that. And sometimes we back off of the social media because we need a break. You know, with what you asked about how did it make you feel? Well, it's pretty stressful too, you know, and
is
right.
Yes, it is. What about you, Brian? How have you been handling all of this newfound, and I'm going to call it what it is, fame? It is fame. It is a bit of a fame. Like, look, here's the thing. You guys wouldn't have been nominated for these Cheer Choice Awards that are being put on by Spread the Cheer USA in Las Vegas if you guys weren't making a difference. Okay. You guys would not have been mentioned if you were not making a difference. You guys are making a difference. It's as simple as that. And people are noticing it, and they're noticing that it's making a positive change. So yes, it is a fame. You guys are social media influencers. As much as you don't want to be calling yourselves that, you are. But here's the thing. It's not Brian and Kendra Ward are social media influencers. Right. It's Forward Project.
Forward Project
is the social media influencer here. Yeah. Right. It is Eric's story. It is the cause behind what you're doing. Right. So you guys do have this newfound fame, but it's not Brian and Kendra Ward's newfound fame. It's Forward Project's newfound fame. And how have you been handling that? And what it's
and I don't really look at it as fame. I've never really considered it as that ever.
Maybe fame was the wrong word, because I guess fame would be the wrong word, but it is definitely an influence that you guys have had, this newfound influence.
And I would say I embrace the following. I embrace the fact that we're growing, because that is the sole indication, especially on TikTok, that we're actually getting his message out there. And, without our followers, and all of their support, we don't grow. So the fact that we've had so many new people come in and follow our page, and they interact with us, they ask questions, the rock program has been phenomenal. That's been probably one of the single biggest things
by far,
with Forward Project. And we absolutely love when people have a video and they tag us in it and they have a rock and they're placing it somewhere. And it just blows our mind that we're actually seeing this happen all over the world. It's not just the USA, it's everywhere. And we love that. We absolutely love that. I mean, I think Eric would be amazed to see how many people he has touched over the last 6 years.
I think he would be amazed at the first year because, you guys have posted videos of Eric and what he's done before. The motorcycle one is like the big one that a lot of people know about. But the fact that you guys are even helping just one person, I think means a lot to him, because I can tell you right now that one person that you helped, it means a lot to them. Right. And it was interesting, Kendra, that you stated before that you are having people come to you and reach to you for personal help, right? My friend's going through this, my friend's going through that. And do you think maybe, because I've had a little bit of issue with that too, people come reach out to me and it's like, I can help talk to you. I can talk to you, but I'm not a crisis line. I am not a crisis counselor.
Right.
If you are on the ledge right now, I can help you. I can help find the help for you. I can't be the help for you.
That's exactly right.
And I think it's on us to probably put that out there a little bit more to allow people to know, like, hey, this is exactly what we are. I understand that you might be going through something, but I am not. I can't be this for you right now because I just, one, I don't feel comfortable doing it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, and two, I'm not trained to do this.
Right.
Yes.
The training is the biggest part.
Yeah.
And, we would never obviously turn anybody away in a time of need. Far from it. We fielded a few messages like that, and being veterans, of course, and those people that have messaged being veterans, we will refer them to the crisis hotline because they're trained for that. But absolutely, we would never shut anybody out.
No.
We'll do whatever we can to help in any way we can.
Every time we see one of those messages, it's about giving them something positive, saying, I hear you, and encouraging them to reach out in whatever manner they're comfortable with. Maybe they do need to talk to a friend first, a trusted person first, because they don't want to call that number. But we talk about those sorts of things with them. I would never just do anything less than that.
And it's very difficult to tell them, you need to reach out because they are reaching out.
Yeah,
already.
They already feel like they're reaching out. And that was some of the issue that I was having is, they reach out and I would tell them, I was like, look, I can't be that person, but I can give you some advice and I can give you some links. I can give you some people to reach out to.
Yes.
And they're like, but you said you would help. And I'm like, this is the help that I'm giving. That is the help. And it's unfortunate sometimes that when people do reach out for help, they almost expect that first thing that they reach out to be the help.
Yes.
Whoever that may be.
That may be. And for anybody that's, and I've said this a million times before, when you start working on your mental health and you do start reaching out for help, not one thing is going to be the thing to help you through it. Right. It's a process. And, calling the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, reaching out to suicide prevention lifeline.org, which are two entities that we, at the end of every show, put the numbers out and contact out because we believe in those here at WMUF. But those organizations are just like the first stepping stone. Yeah. It's going to be a process. You got to come up with a plan. You got to come up with a plan of action to follow through with to get better. you can't just call one person and expect that it's going to be fixed, because it doesn't work that way. And I might not be doing a good enough job putting that out there, but I believe that if we start talking about it more and being more open about, okay, this is what we are, this is what we do. Yeah. Maybe it's not uncommon and it's not unfathomable that that's the conclusion a lot of these people that are reaching out for help would think about Forward Project or with What Makes Us Fire, any other mental health awareness platforms. They reach out to us. So, well, you're a mental health awareness platform, you should be able to help. It's not,
that makes sense.
It's not unfathomable that somebody would call an ad and be like, hey, you're bringing all this awareness, you should be able to help. It's like, we can help, but it might not be in the way you think it's going to be.
Exactly. Does that make sense? And, you know, we have unfortunately witnessed other accounts that they portray one thing, and unfortunately, they turn away on the platform they built of helping others. And I'm not going to go into details on that, but you know, we've had people approach us, you know, through Messenger and other channels asking for help. The last thing we would ever do, especially after what we've been through, the last thing we would do is ever turn anybody away. We encourage, you know, we do whatever we can to enable them to try to find that good place while we simultaneously try to find them the help they need.
It's not up to us to evaluate them, whether they need that or not. If something is being said, it's the same thing. Everyone gets that encouragement, and, you know, we're listening and we want to help you find the help you need.
Exactly.
No matter what the situation is, you know, no matter how much they share, how little they share, veteran or not, that's all irrelevant. They said they need help. Let's make it happen. Or maybe they're exhibiting some warning signs and it's kind of obvious they need some help, you know? So those are delicate situations, but, you know, it's unfortunate that there have been some negative situations that have happened with people not living up to what they claim to be. So we just need to move away from that and focus on the people who need help, and then build up the organizations that have the structure and the resources to make it happen.
You guys thought, since all this has happened, have you guys thought that maybe these kind of situations were going to be growing like they did? Did that ever occur to you that with this notoriety that you and Forward Project are getting, that a lot more people are going to start reaching out to you specifically?
I never thought of anything of the sort. You know, it was so low key for
a long time,
3 years. You know, I was just making 550 cord bracelets and making a few rocks here and there. And then, you know, when we took rocks with us everywhere we went, and some friends painted some or drew on them, and, you know, a lot were handmade at that time, but just, it was so simple, you know, and there's just layer after layer that keeps adding on. And that's a good thing, because we want all of it to make an impact and help people. So
where do you guys want Forward Project to grow from here? I mean, you guys are still what I would call like a crowdfunding foundation, right? Because what you guys do is you'll do like a fundraiser or something, and then that money goes to nonprofits, which, by the way, I do have to say thank you again for your donation earlier last year. That was amazing. I had no idea you guys were doing that until I saw your video, because you didn't tell me you guys are doing that until I saw it.
That's kind of the fun part. So, you know, our fundraisers would probably be more successful if we said, we're going to fundraise for this organization, but we'd love to just go, hi, guess what?
And you did. And I was just like, what are you guys? Okay, thank you. But yeah, it you know, you guys are like I said, what I consider is what the business would call a crowdfunding organization, where you guys will do fundraisers, and then from those fundraisers you donate to nonprofits. And I'm wondering if you guys have thought about actually creating your own nonprofit, and instead of crowdfunding and giving to other nonprofits, you guys can start doing the help and the things that you think are needed with just you guys not being the middleman.
We have, and the single biggest reason we will never go nonprofit is because we don't want a board of directors dictating what we do, what we can do, what we can do, or worse, ending our project.
That's happened.
Yes.
In nonprofits, the founder gets pushed out. But there's one piece that circles around more than anything else. This is about Eric and what happens with his name, his memory, his legacy, his image even. We want to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And we can't do that solely if other people are involved. Not that there aren't other people we wouldn't trust, but it's still so personal for us. You know what I mean?
That's completely understandable.
Yeah, it is. And we want to make every decision with that. So basically what it ends up being is we take the hit on our taxes.
Yeah.
That's it, but we can still make a difference with, trying to reach people, helping make sure Eric isn't forgotten, and just doing something positive. That was one of the other things that we wanted to continue. He helped so many people in organized community service and just on his own. And that's what we want to make sure keeps going and keeping that vision.
And I do want to add that although we do help nonprofits, we do also help other organizations that are not nonprofit. We do our best to vet whoever we're going to decide to help out, but it's not always just nonprofits. There are other organizations that are not nonprofit that we assist.
It tends to be, but I mean, if someone is doing a quality fundraiser, we know that it's really going where they say it's going. It's someone we trust. It's kind of like the same situation with us. We're saying that we're donating this money, and people are trusting us with that. So we also do that with other organizations that we believe are fulfilling their promises as well.
Where are you guys just coasting along right now with what's going on, or do you have plans with Forward Project that may or may not be secret?
It all just kind of keeps happening to us, and it's almost like a day by day thing. Like
it's constantly evolving.
We really got to make a video. What are we going to do? Like we should have a plan, but it's still a surprise. It shouldn't be after a year and a half, but it's still just a surprise.
But that keeps it interesting.
It does. It does. So. We have regular jobs. This isn't like our living. We make no money off of it for us personally. So that goes into your earlier question about being busy. Yes, we're very busy because we work all day and then we do this in the evening and everything that comes along with it, So, and that's good. I need to be busy or the mind starts going, so.
Let's go into that a little bit. I'm curious as to, because when you have this project going on for Eric, it is, for lack of a better term, it is a constant reminder of what happened, right? Yeah. And because you want to bring awareness to what happened and remember his name. And for some people they'll process what happened, but they don't want to remember it every day, right? They want to be able to try to either move forward, forget about it because it hurts. Like there's a bunch of different reasons as to why some people might just be like, we said our goodbyes. I miss him, but I don't want to be constantly reminded of that situation because it hurts. Mm-hmm. It does.
Yeah.
With you guys though, you guys are literally in the throes of this project that almost every day you're getting a video. Almost every day somebody's asking you questions about it. And I'm asking these questions because I'm trying to lean towards, I think I know what the answer is, but I'm leaning towards the outcome of the question that I believe is going to happen, but I want you guys to say it. Do you think that process or having it constantly there for you is beneficial for your healing, or is it making that healing process take a little bit longer?
Well, the reality with that, in my opinion, is as a parent that lost a child, you're never going to be completely healed.
Yeah.
That pain is always going to be there. You can't hide from it. You can't avoid it. You can do your best, but it's damn sure going to find you at 2 a.m. after you've bottled it up for days, weeks, months, and it's going to break you down. But you will never, ever get past it. There is no getting past it. You lost a child. And every day you have to learn how to carry it with you. It's always going to be with you. So in my opinion, no, there's no end game with that kind of grief. You have to learn how to carry it with you.
Okay, then let me rephrase the question. Instead of the word healing, like you said, carrying it with you, do you think it's making it easier or more difficult to carry with you?
Oh, definitely a lot easier, because we've heard from so many people of their struggles and what they're going through, and other family members that have dealt with this exact same thing. So you realize that you're not alone. You're not alone in this specific style of grief. And, when we went through therapy early on and met other couples that were going through the same thing that we were going through, we definitely, it was a relief to know that we weren't the only ones that felt this way, and that our grief, our anger, everything was justified in how we felt. So,
and that other people were going through those things and questioning, is this okay? Is it normal? Am I making it worse?
Should I feel this way? Yeah.
So many questions, because, it seems on the surface like such an easy thing. You lose someone, you're sad.
Yeah.
Over time, you get less sad, probably, unless you can't handle it and then things are terrible. It's not that simple.
No.
You go through so many different emotions, and it can change in a heartbeat. It can change, like after Eric died, everything on TV, somebody was named Eric. It was like, there was no escape. Well, there's never going to be an escape from it. In
regards to the TV thing, it never dawned on me, not once, that so many people, TV skits and things like that, they'll poke fun at suicide.
Yeah.
And one of the most just incredible moments for that for me was we were watching the Simpsons movie. And there's a scene toward the end of that where this police bomb detection robot is supposed to disarm this bomb, and he can't handle the pressure. So he takes the police officer's gun and shoots himself. And, in that moment, I hated myself. I really did. Because normally I probably would have laughed at that, And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, how is that fucking funny?
So with the experiences that you've gone through and the experiences that I've gone through, and for a lot of people, that kind of humor is funny, that dark humor, right? And there have been people, I'll put this out there. He's a comedian, Pete Davidson. I don't know if you're aware of him or know of him.
Right.
His father died in the 9/11 attacks. His father was in the towers and he died in the 9/11 attacks. But Pete Davidson has made jokes about it. Pretty dark jokes about his father dying in the 9/11 attacks. And people are like, how can you do that? How can you be okay with making those kind of jokes? And his response was, it helps me to not give it the power that it had. So
that makes sense. But I think many people do it for entertainment value, and that's where I have more of an issue. As a veteran, dark humor is a way of life, but it's often self-deprecating or going after your buddy and getting under his skin, you know,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's accepted and normal. I think the difference is when you're preying on somebody who is weak, or weak isn't the right word, that wasn't appropriate, but somebody who is in a weak moment
Yeah.
is a better description, and the consequences of that weak moment, you know. I understand, you know, to a little bit why he would go that route, and if that's what helps him, you know, then there's also a purpose there too for why he's doing it. It's not just, hey, got this great idea, you know, and let's make this funny.
And Brian, I'm not trying I want to let you know, I'm not trying to dismiss what you're saying, because there's been things that I have seen on TV that reminded me of my attempt, and they're making light of it. And my first immediate thought was, how dare they? How fucking dare they? But at the same time, I have to remember not everybody has had my life experience.
Yeah.
Right.
And
No, understandable.
but
And like I said before, I mean, had this not happened to us, I absolutely probably would have laughed at that. That's that military dark humor, and you know, but when you're seeing it from the other side, it's it's completely different.
Do you think the anger was more at yourself or at the creators of something like that? And this is an interesting topic.
Oh, I'm sure it was more at me. I'm sure it was more at me.
Because it is an interesting topic when we talk about people that get triggered, right? A lot of the times people that get triggered will put the anger towards that trigger, whether it was someone else or something else. They focus that anger towards the trigger instead of doing that self-reflection. Why am I so angry about this?
I was very clear about why it upset me, because and that's why I said I was angry at myself, because not even considering the other side of that, you know, that's why I hated myself for that. I mean, I'm like, you fucking hypocrite. You would have laughed at that fucking 7 years ago, you know, and you know, now they're making light of something that is exactly what your son did. And so, no, it had nothing to do with the creators. It wasn't anything with the trigger. It was the fact that I realized in that moment that I should have seen both sides of that, not just one side of that.
And I believe that that's what, unfortunately, sometimes for a lot of people, I believe that it takes going through a circumstance, a tragedy that is similar to what we would see for us to finally see that other side. And to be honest, how could we?
Yeah.
How could we? There's there's things you know, things you know you don't know, and things you don't know you don't know. And the things you don't know you don't know, you don't know them until they're thrown in your face, and probably at the most inopportune time.
Yeah.
Right.
You're watching a movie, enjoying yourself, and then all of a sudden, boom, here comes this realization.
Well, yeah. And about 3 weeks ago, we go on binge watching sessions sometimes on TV. So we been watching the TV show House about the doctor, you know.
Show, yeah.
And I don't even remember what season we were well into it, like 5 or 6 seasons into it. And the episode where Dr. Kuttner killed himself in his house, and we didn't even realize it was that episode.
Right.
But it's very early on in that episode, and as soon as we realized what it was, we turned it off.
Yeah, that was so
like,
hard.
Can't, not tonight. That's just no. We're not dealing with that.
So you guys are obviously still affected by things that remind you of the actual action and circumstance that happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is not, it's not wrong. You know, like we hear a lot of the times with stuff that we go through and stuff that we have been exposed to that hasn't it been long enough, haven't you had time to heal?
Yeah.
It's been 6 years. Can't you guys like try to move on a little bit more? Or shouldn't you be farther along in your grieving process, or
even indirectly, just expectations?
Yeah, there's definitely expectations. I cannot tell you, like, not going to say who, but after my attempt in September of 20, it was just a few months later that there was this expectation that I should have been over it already, that I shouldn't be as affected by it, and that I was acting irrational because I was still affected by it. And the thing
by
is,
people that have no clue what you've gone through.
Exactly. And so how do I hold them accountable for that if they're not aware?
Yeah.
You know, and I can blame it on their ignorance, which is technically true. And it is just ignorance. And I wouldn't want them to go through what I went through to understand me. Right. I wouldn't want them to go through that to show understanding, because I wouldn't want to go through it again. So it's this hard thing to balance between, okay, should I be angry at this person for expecting this of me, or for saying this thing about me, for not understanding because they've never been through it, they've never gotten to that level before? Should I just be angry?
Josh, you have no idea how correct you are right now.
Right? Or
I have watched other people's videos where they're making a video of a friend, a family member, somebody that took their own life. And I see these fucking comments from trolls. Oh, he was a fucking coward for doing that. That's a coward's way out. If I could crawl through their computer screen, I'd pummel the fuck out of them. That is just one of the most ignorant things you could say.
it is.
You have no clue what somebody's going through. You're not them. You don't live their life. You don't feel what they feel. You know, cut them a break. Just because you don't understand something doesn't give you the right to bash on somebody.
And that's where I was going to is, do you find yourself in that, should you go to that angry position of how dare you, or do you feel sorry for them for not understanding? And do you like, for me, instead of, because I used to be like that too, Brian, like, how the fucking dare you say something like that to somebody that's going through what they're going through? You know, like, shut the fuck up. God forbid.
You know, my initial thought is, though, they're making those kind of comments maybe because they're scared. Maybe they had that thought once in their life. You know, maybe it was fleeting, but maybe that triggers them so much that they're just upset about it. So that's how they act out.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, and for me, what I've am trying to train my mind to do, because my first response is exactly like yours, Brian. Sometimes violence is the answer. That's all I'm going to say. But what I'm trying to get at is, do I feel sorry for the ignorance that they have? Or am I going to, you know what? That was a very ignorant comment. I hope you never have to go through what they're going through. I know you probably said it out of ignorance. So can I blame you for making that statement and that idea of what you're seeing here without ever knowing what that actually means? Can I blame you for that? It's like somebody.
No, you can't blame them, but you can easily block them.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, you can hold them responsible to their actions, obviously, but the idea that they had is kind of what I'm getting at. The idea that, oh, that's the coward's way out, or whatever the fuck they have to say.
Yeah.
Do I hold them accountable for that idea because they're ignorant of it, because they haven't gone through it?
How can you hold them accountable if they've never been through it?
Exactly. So,
you know,
so do I hold them accountable for that action and what they said? Sure, absolutely. But the ignorance that they have about that subject, it's almost like, how can I truly be mad at you? Like, if they knew and been through something similar to that, and
they never would have made the comment.
Exactly. And then said something like that, then I'd be like, all right, motherfucker, we're throwing down.
Exactly. Yeah.
But a lot of these times, these people that make these comments are ignorant. They don't know. And it's so like, I want to punch you in the face right now, but you don't you don't understand what you just said. And so it's like a child saying something off color at the wrong time, right? Like walking into the store and being like, why is that lady so big? Really, really loud and stuff like that. But it's just a child. being ignorant to what is considered normal human behavior.
Right.
So do I hold that person accountable for not having normal human behavior because they're not aware of it?
I think you have to look at each individual. Anytime any of those things happen, you have to look at the totality of the circumstances and the situation. Some people, unfortunately, they make those comments just to be trolls.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, as you stated, they're just uninformed.
Well, I think that's what we're trying to focus on changing.
Yeah.
The more this is talked about, suicide, mental health, all those things that surround that, the more we can stop that. You know, the one-on-one situations might make a difference, might not. They might be there just to be a troll and agitate you, or truly not know. And we get that question a lot. What is 22 a day?
Yeah.
And I make sure I always answer those comments as well,
Right.
you know, because they appear to be legitimate questions. And that's okay. I want people to ask. I want people asking questions, even if they seem a bit inappropriate, is still a lot better than thinking you know or deliberately being negative about it. So if we're constantly talking about this, it's got to make a difference, you know. So like right now, we're doing a campaign to try to get a rock to the rock.
Yes.
For obvious reasons, right? A rock to the rock.
By the way, What Makes Us Fire family, if you're listening, I duetted their video, and that video got like thousands of views, and a lot of people are commenting on it, and they're tagging The Rock as well. But if anybody listening to this podcast right now knows Dwayne The Rock Johnson, tell him to get on fucking TikTok, get Kevin Hart's short ass, because I really want to see him get that small rock. You guys should like get a pebble on or something just for Kevin Hart. But when you said that, I was just like, oh, that would be amazing if you can get Kevin Hart and The Rock to just, because they make videos all the damn time.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of their movies, they make videos all the damn time. So if anybody out there listening knows Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or knows how to get a hold of him and or Kevin Hart, please reach out to me. Go to WhatMakesUsFire.com, Josh at WhatMakesUsFire.com, WhatMakesUsFire@yahoo.com, forwardproject@gmail.com. Just email somebody so we can get rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, you will get a large rock. It's going to be smaller to everybody else. It'll be smaller to everybody else, but it's going to be large to you, bro. It's going to be large to you. But no, yeah, you do have this campaign going. Sorry, I just got really excited.
No. Of course, that's okay. Yes, sell it.
And we understand they're obviously very big,
Yeah.
you know.
No. But here's the thing that I was going to say. Everybody's talking about it, and that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it never works, I hope it does. But even if it never works,
The word's out.
everybody's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making progress.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know, when I thought of it, I went, my gosh, let's do that, because you know what, even if the video gets 500 views, 500 people saw it, and that's great.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that
so,
video got how many thousands of views? Come on, 500 views.
I know it was over 100,000 last time I saw it, but I have no idea. No.
Yeah,
so I'm really happy for that. And that leads, I think, to the most important thing.
Mhm.
The vast majority of people that we deal with on social media have been supportive and positive.
Oh, absolutely.
They really have.
Yeah. Mhm.
We get the occasional little troll stuff on our popular videos just simply because it's being exposed to so many people.
Yeah.
But, you know, we do not have, compared to a lot of other creators on TikTok, we do not have a lot of followers. I would rather have the number we have, which I think is quality.
Yeah.
And we're totally fine with that, you know, because those people want to be there. It wasn't just a knee-jerk follow and that's the end of it. They're there to engage.
Mhm.
And that means a lot.
I think what you guys have found and what you guys have done is truly amazing when it comes to getting the message out, right? Shortly after your first stint here on the podcast, you guys started getting more invites to do more podcasts. What were some of the other podcasts? I know for sure IGY622 podcast reached out to you because I was on his podcast and I told him to reach out to you guys. But there were some others that you guys did as well.
We actually haven't done them. We've had a couple of invitations, but things just haven't come together yet. There's a creator who has a large YouTube account who, after he walks the Appalachian Trail, he said he wants to have us on his YouTube channel, but that will be later in the year.
Okay. Well, you have been on the news. NASCAR.
It was Fox Sport. Fox Sports, yeah.
You guys were on Fox Sports.
We weren't. The Rock.
The Rock was.
Yes.
You guys were featured. Forward Project was featured. Forward Project was featured on Fox Sports at a NASCAR event, if I remember.
That was awesome.
Yes, that's because of John Stacy.
Yeah.
He is a NASCAR official who has been taking rocks to every NASCAR race. And if he's not working the race, he gives it to someone else and they take care of it. And one is ridden in a pace car. They've been in the pits. They've everywhere.
Kevin Harvick's tall.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's. Yep. Yep, exactly. So no, I mean,
but that was really exciting for us, that the race you're talking about, Josh, where they had the green rock. And I'm drawing a blank on the announcer's name.
I don't know.
It wasn't Darrell Waltrip. It was the other guy. But they had a close up of the rock and he was explaining what it was and things like that. And yeah, that was really exciting. Cool. Yeah.
What about some of these people that have, some of these large social media creators and some of these celebrities that have started to make videos with the rocks? Some of these large artists, song artists, band artists. I'm not going to say their names. I'm going to let you guys say their names.
Well, Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray he was on TikTok and had a live, and we had followed him with our account, and he was one of Eric's favorite singers. So Mark in his live was saying, hey, I want to hear your stories. Talk to me, people. Say something, duet a video of mine and tell me something about yourself or what you're doing or whatever. It was truly an open invitation. So we duetted one of his videos and said, you were one of our son's favorite singers, and we even played your songs at his funeral, and we'd love to give you a rock. That man responded so fast and was so legitimately kind. You know, you kind of get this image of what famous people might be like, and, you know, they're too good for you or whatever, you know, but super nice. Just, I can't say enough about him, you know, and he responded with a video to us and then actually took it down because he felt like it didn't do what we're doing justice. And his response was just kind of like him getting a little upset by what we said and, you know, saying, of course I'll support you, but he was getting upset. And it wasn't that he was embarrassed. It was that he didn't want people to then troll that and accuse us or him of, you know, doing things for attention or something. And, you know, that was really thoughtful too. So yeah, he has promised when things really loosen up and he's really touring again, that he's going to put the rocks in some really kick-ass places. So can't wait.
I actually have somebody that is getting ready to start a tour this year. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Trapped.
Mm-hmm.
They sing Headstrong,
right,
and all that other stuff. Well, Chris Taylor Brown was on the podcast after you guys. He reached out. Well, let me rephrase. I reached out to him. He was just starting TikTok, and Fiegel, the Fiegel has landed. He made a video with Chris Taylor Brown's music, and Chris Taylor Brown responded, and Fiegel was freaking out, and he was fangirling, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. So I reached out to Trapped and reached out to Chris Taylor Brown. He was like, yeah, I'd love to do a podcast. And he was on the podcast, and I actually talked to him about you guys a little bit. And he was like, oh yeah, that'd be cool to get a rock. So I am thinking I'm going to get you guys in touch with Chris Taylor Brown, lead singer of Trapped.
And he already has a rock.
Oh, there you go.
I beat you to it.
Yeah, you did. But what I want to do is I want him to take one on tour.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
And so I messaged him the other day because he's supposed to come back on the show as well. and I tried giving him a call, but he's getting ready for his tour that he's doing.
Yeah.
I forget what he called, like flashback tour or something. They're gonna be playing the entire first album. So Headstrong, Still Walls, like Echo. Like I'm like, if you come to Texas, please let me know.
Yeah.
Like my 16-year-old self will be like geeking out. But yeah, so okay, well, you know.
Yes, well, thank you for all of that. That's so awesome.
You know what? No, Kendra, you already whatever.
I should have just run with it.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, seriously, I really do appreciate that. That was really cool.
Well, that
to
and
talk to him and then do this.
I'm also reaching out to Jason Patton from Fire Department Chronicles. He is a firefighter, a bald firefighter that makes a lot of funny videos about the fire department and everything. I'm not sure if you're aware of him. He has like 2 million subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he's coming back onto the podcast and recording with him on Tuesday. And I wanted to mention you guys to him and see about maybe getting a route to him for you guys, because if he puts that video on YouTube, holy shit, be ready. Like,
yeah.
be ready. I also have the Great Londini I'm recording with tomorrow night.
Cool.
You guys know who the Great Londini is?
Yeah.
He is a
follow
veteran.
him too.
He's a veteran. He's going to be on the podcast tomorrow night. 7.5 million followers on TikTok alone.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the podcast, and I don't know if wait, let me rephrase. Kendra, did you get a rock to him yet?
Okay, so I emailed his website because I was watching a live and people were asking questions, and he said, just email our website, and I didn't hear back. So
hey,
okay.
Guess who's going to be actually talking to him?
Yeah. All right, Josh. Glad you're here.
Yeah. All right. Well, because the trapped one didn't work out. Shit. Anyway.
Verse 2.
Right.
Hey, Josh, let me take a break for just a sec, okay?
All right. Go ahead. Drain the lizard. What you drinking, Brian?
Captain and Dew.
Captain and Dew. I'm drinking something that was in a plastic bag that we put in that plastic bag for like a river trip or something.
Yeah.
It was alcoholic. I know that because it smells like whiskey. And some iced tea.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we went through all our name dropping. But seriously though, you guys have grown exponentially since you've been on the show last.
Yeah.
And the name of Forward Project and Eric's story has been being shared way more than it ever did before. Yeah. And I am so happy and proud. Again, I'm gloating, not humble on this at all. You guys were the first podcast to come on and actually share your story on a worldwide, like, podcast episode, something completely different from social media. Because before then it was only social media. So again, I am not humble at all. What Makes Us Fire was number 1, baby.
Right? That's right.
But where are you guys looking to take this? I did kind of ask, do you guys have any plans for it? And you guys are saying that you guys are kind of just taking it day by day. Do you have any type of plans with this, or are you thinking about something bigger? Are you guys in talks with any nonprofits to be like somebody that you work with continuously, or?
It's fishing.
I know, right?
I mean, no, Brian, no, not at all.
We're not going to spill all the beans, but
give us a little taste of something. A little taste of something. I mean, hell, you got married in 7 weeks. I know you give it all really quick. Okay.
I dropped to a knee in a parking lot outside of her company area when I asked her to marry me. So, you know.
Yeah. And then like a day later got pregnant.
It might have been 2 days, Josh. I mean,
either way, I know. Either way, I know
it was a day later because it had to have been that day because I went to the field for 3 weeks right after we got married.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And at the end of those 3 weeks, you're barfing in the morning, I bet.
Correct. Oh my God. I barfed for 9 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no.
It was horrible.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And the complete opposite with Bailey.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oops,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. All right. So I'm not going to forget. I know you just tried to change this conversation. Any type of beans you can spill here. Maybe just one bean.
Go ahead.
I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know what you want to spill. So
Or are you talking about plans with certain organizations or just in general?
In general.
Okay, in general, yeah. Well, we are, as you're aware.
Typical. That was okay. I'm sorry. For everybody listening on an audio version, if you could have just seen what happened right now. Brian moved the camera just a little bit, and Kendra said, "Nope," and moved it back the other way.
It's that, ADHD thing. It's the
no touchy.
Yeah, the edge of the computer is not parallel to the platform it's sitting on, so that's driving you nuts. So, anyways, future things. You're aware of our involvement with Waypoint Vets.
Yes, I am.
Our last endeavor with them was absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
When we went on that canyoneering trip, the one thing that really stood out to me the most was we were on the houseboat and everybody was just kind of talking about why they were there. And we were about halfway through, or we were about midway after half the group had already said why they were there. And it was our turn to talk. And I mentioned that I was there to let go of a lot of things. And, the feelings that we have had over the years, one of which was, wanting to follow Eric into what he did. And by the time I had gotten done talking, one of the girls that hadn't spoken yet immediately spoke up and said that she changed her mind about what she was going to say based on what we had talked about why we were there, that she had faced those things and she was scared to talk about it. And it just kind of reinforced exactly what we do. Mm-hmm. We want to bring that message to the forefront because people shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. They should be able to just reach out and somebody's going to be there to hear their story and to do whatever they can to help them. And as we've already talked about, we're not qualified in every way to do that, but we have resources that we can direct people to.
Here's the thing. I think you guys are more qualified than because when it comes to somebody reaching out to somebody that's been through a similar situation or very damn near same situation, the fact that you guys have experienced it, that is the number one. I hate to say it like this, but I can't. You guys have the most experience in it.
Sure. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right.
For me personally, though, that particular encounter with her and in person, one-on-one, and seeing her face and hearing the emotion in her voice, and for her to just bear all the way she did in front of everybody, it made such a huge impact on me personally. And it just, to me, it reinforces what we're doing. Mm-hmm. If we can continue to find the strength to just put it out there, as raw as the emotions are, even now, if that gives even one person the strength to come forward then it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to help, and that's what we want to do.
I think that by us being open about what we went through in her situation, and she even said it,
Yeah.
she very quickly envisioned her parents in our shoes.
Yeah.
If she chose to end her life. And she talked about then how that upset her, and it started to get her thinking about the whole process.
Yeah.
And not just being in the moment of the difficulty she's facing. And that was like, wow, you know, we just naturally have been honest and open about what we've gone through to either express it to feel better or in with our goals of helping people. But to hear that so directly make such an impact, it was like, okay, this feels like we're choosing to do something right.
Yeah.
You found that it's gotten easier the more you share. And let me
Depends on
rephrase.
it depends on the day.
Not going through the situation. Let me rephrase my question.
Yeah.
Have you found that it's gotten easier to talk about the more you share?
Not necessarily.
It just depends on the day. I mean, it depends on what detail we're talking about or what I've experienced previously in the day.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to students and cried in front of 30 of them and then talked to 10 of them and been stoic.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends on a lot.
We're definitely in agreement that from the beginning of July through the end of the year is our hardest time, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Eric's birthday was July 16th, and he died on August 22nd, which was also my brother's birthday. And then, of course, immediately following that, you've got the holidays coming up, and, you know, he helped me hang Christmas lights and everything else. So, yeah, the second half of the year for us is the hardest, without a doubt.
Are you guys, or do you guys still go through therapy and treatment?
Yes.
And grieving counseling and all that stuff?
Not the grief counseling, but therapy. Yeah.
Therapy.
The grief counseling that we received through Stein Hospice was life-changing.
Yeah.
It literally was.
It was targeted. It wasn't a random counselor assigned to you and you go through a structured set of things. It was specific to people who have had someone close to them commit suicide. That's it.
And it was very, very quick right after it happened. And when I approached Kendra about it, she was hesitant, to say the least.
Not the fact of doing it, but the fact of being around other people and having to carry the weight of hearing their stories.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear their stories. I had too much filling up my head and trying to just breathe and deal with it. And I didn't want to hear their stories. And I needed to hear their stories. So it's a good thing, but that's why I was resistant to it.
Make a really interesting point by saying that you know, a lot of times when we're going through a struggle or going through a trauma that we just went through, a lot of the times the last thing we need to hear is somebody else's struggle or tragedy that they went through, right? Because sometimes we do, I'm gonna be crude because that's who I am. There's this dick measuring contest of my tragedy is worse than your tragedy.
Yes.
And the last thing I need to do is share my story and then have you try to one up it and it hurt you more than I'm hurting. And I think that's a big fear that a lot of us have when we start sharing what we experienced and what we went through. But
then you find those commonalities.
That's exactly
and it's a jumping off point for discussion. And like, it almost blindsides you when you hear some of the things that the other families had to say, and you're like, really? You felt that way too? And it's an eye-opening experience. And it gives you a moment to breathe and realize that you're not an island, you're not alone in this, and it's helpful.
And that's where I was going with this. You know, I really wish the idea that you have to keep it to yourself or that no one's going to understand. I wish that idea could, stop being such a prevalent idea, because it's not the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
You were surprised by hearing other stories and how much people could relate to what you were going through. Obviously, it wasn't the same situation. Obviously, they don't know how you are feeling about it, but they can understand. They hear it because they know that even though the situation's different, even though the circumstances are different, the feelings and emotions are the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And that's one of the messages that we try our best to put out there for anybody listening, not only on our social media, but obviously on this podcast. You are not alone. I know you might feel that way, but you are not alone. Exactly.
So we have a new little hashtag that we have here. Hashtag NOFA. No one fights alone. No one fights alone. And the idea that you have to keep it quiet because you feel like it'd be a burden, that no one's going to understand or no one's going to sympathize. I mean, those are all ideas within our heads.
Yeah.
And there's nothing out there that says you cannot share what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Because when you do, not only does it help you get that weight off your shoulders a little bit, but it might help somebody else get the weight off their shoulders. And then now you guys can carry it together.
Yeah.
And it's that whole more hands make lighter work aspect idea. Yeah. That when there's more people around you that surround you that understand the circumstances that you've been through or the emotions and feelings that you're going through currently, when there's more people around you that understand where that kind of comes from and the ideas that you have because of it, it's crazy that alone feeling that is sometimes the worst part of everything is just feeling so alone and trapped inside your head with your emotions and your thoughts. Realizing that you're not alone in that and that there's people that you can lean on and talk to about it. God, what a relief. What a relief.
And we talked about that previously with you on the first podcast. If not for her, I wouldn't be here today. And she shares the same sentiment.
Yeah.
I could not have survived losing Eric had it not been for
her. I want to ask you guys a tough question. And it is going to be a tough question. Okay. And I apologize right off the bat. You also have a daughter.
Yeah.
When you guys were going through this struggle and through the trauma and through these emotions of that first happening and having the thoughts of following Eric by committing suicide yourselves, was your daughter ever a thought in this?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I told you it was going to be a hard question.
No, it's understandable though.
But it's a question that I think needs to be answered for a lot of people, because I don't want people to think that just because you have other loved ones in your life that all of a sudden your mental health is going to be fixed by it and your grieving is going to be okay. Like one of the biggest issues I had when I was going through my stint is when I had my attempt, I had a lot of people tell me like, well, what about your kids? Why didn't you think about your kids? And I don't think people actually realize that when you're in that state of mind, you're not thinking rationally.
No,
right.
Not at all.
Right.
You're not thinking rationally. You're on this pure emotionally driven line of thinking.
Absolutely.
And emotionally driven line of thinking is not always coherent.
And that is the difference. And forgive me, Josh, for making this differentiation here, but the difference between your attempt and Eric's completion of suicide and its resultant effect on us is exactly why we couldn't possibly do that and put our daughter in the position that we were put in by Eric's death.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So she was a driving factor in, even though you were having these thoughts,
Of course.
she was a driving factor for you not to actually go through with them.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You were just upset at the fact that you were even having these thoughts.
And as parents, she needed us as much as we needed her in those moments, in those months and years. And we found out as time went along, surprisingly, how many other people actually tried to take blame for Eric doing what he did. And Bailey was one of them. Bailey, she happened to be sleeping downstairs that night. And when Eric came downstairs to find the keys to my truck, Bailey woke up and, Eric told her a lie and said he needed to get his car charger out of my truck. And Bailey helped him look for my keys. So, of course, she then felt guilty because she helped. It was a week or two later that one of his close friends, Tustin, stopped by and, we were all talking, sitting in the living room talking about it. And he started crying, blaming himself for Eric dying because a month or two prior, when all of them were together out, doing what boys do, somehow the subject turned to suicide. And the question was raised, how would you do it? And, Tustin said, I wouldn't want to feel any pain, so I would use a gun. And because that's how Eric did it, Tustin felt that it was his fault that Eric did that.
And it wasn't.
Obviously, it wasn't.
And we made
told
sure
him,
to tell him.
Told Tustin, that's not your burden to bear.
And hug the hell out of him.
Exactly.
He was carrying that. That was really a big weight on him.
Yeah.
It's interesting how people that love somebody that does commit suicide, and I want people to know that when I say it, I say it bluntly like that.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't want to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And the more we sugarcoat it, the less importance I feel is put on it. And so I call it what it is. When we have a loved one that commits suicide, all the people that love them feel some sort of responsibility. Why didn't I notice the signs? Why did we on the first podcast, Eric knew I kept my gun in my truck. And there's all these small little details that we think about that we try to tie to what happened. The thing is all those small little details, whether they were circumvented or not, the idea was in the individual's head prior to it ever happening. And there's when somebody makes up their mind about something like that, it's very, very hard for them to expose it. The thing about people with depression is we're really, really, really fucking good at hiding it.
And he was.
Absolutely.
And we hide it for a reason. We hide it because people with depression don't want to burden our loved ones with the fact that we have depression. And a lot of people say it's a selfish act. I can see both sides of that coin, right? But being somebody that had those thoughts, I don't look at it as so much of a selfish act, even though I know technically I'm tired of hurting. I don't want to hurt. I want this to stop. These are all I statements, but I don't want my family to have to deal with this. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to do this to them. And so there's also this sense of I'm doing this for other people as well. And
that's why I disagree with the selfish act statement.
Right.
Because
so
they're not thinking about themselves in that moment at all.
Right. They're thinking about the other people that they love. But, and this is where you might get mad at me because I've done a lot of, like I said, I told you guys before, I've done a lot of research on the subject. When we're saying, I don't want to have my family feel or be burdened with this, that's still kind of a selfish thing because it's what I want. I don't want you to feel bad. When people hear that, they think it's not selfish because they're concerning themselves with somebody else's feelings, but it's still technically what they want. I don't want you to feel this way without ever allowing you to have the chance to let them know that you don't feel that way.
Right. Yeah, I see where you're going.
You see what I'm saying? So, and this is where I see both sides of the coin. For me personally, I thought it was a selfless act because I didn't want to put my family through the burden of me being mentally ill.
Yeah.
With my depression. I didn't want them to have to deal with that. I didn't want them to have to see me like this anymore. I didn't want them to be struggling with the pain and emotion that I was going through. And I thought at the time it would have been a selfless act. But when somebody told me, it was like, yes, but you didn't want them to see that. Do you hear what you're saying? You did not want them to see that. You never gave them the chance to tell you whether or not that is truly what they felt. And so I thought about it and I'm like, I could see that side of the story too, but it doesn't change my opinion. Like I can understand the point of view, but it doesn't change my opinion. I still think it would have been a selfless act because that would have been the last burden they would have had to deal with. And they wouldn't have to deal with that burden anymore. And
what you just talked about was, it sounds like that when you're in that thought process, you're going to end that burden for them. And then they'll get over it. They'll be sad, but they'll get over it. Yeah. I don't even know if you think to that step as well, but it seems like it's a little cut and dry, right then and there. Like, well, it's bigger because I'm such a big burden. So yeah, it'll be bad if I'm gone, but then they can move on and then they'll be happy. And that's not true.
No, and it took me some therapy and psychiatric treatment to realize that.
Right. Yeah.
And some studying, families that have a loved one that commits suicide, the people that were closest to them are now like 50% more likely to commit suicide themselves. Like parents, I know that for sure. If a parent commits suicide, the child is 50 times more likely to commit suicide themselves.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And it's this weird idea that the human mind puts into motion that if they did it, why can't I? If it was easy for them, it should be easy for me. If the world's okay without them, then the world will be okay without me. And it's so much more complex than that. Like you said, it's not cut and dry, but at the time, again, depression doesn't allow you to think rationally.
Right.
You think emotionally, and emotions are not always rational.
Right.
And I truly believe that you guys sharing your story through all this and through the whole process of all this, right? The having the ideas and thoughts that you did, the emotions, the hardships that you had from it, the how do I say this? The achievements you've had through this is completely, for someone like me looking on the outside in, is how did you change something so tragic into something so meaningful? And the fact that you guys showed the strength to do that and still continue showing the strength to do that while still in your grieving process, while still having those days, and while still fighting with that loss every day, but still showing the strength to be able to continue that mission, continue what Eric was about. And this is a lot about you, not just Eric. There's a reason why Eric was the person he was. And it's because of you, his parents. And you can see why he was such a caring person. Because you have shown that even though you had your tragedy and you lost your son, it didn't stop what you guys taught him and what he did. He learned it from you. He didn't learn it from some TV show. He didn't learn it from a movie. He didn't learn it from class. He learned it from the parents that raised him. That kind-hearted soul that he had was because that soul was Brian and Kendra Ward into one.
Okay, you're gonna make me cry.
And and that's the reason why I've told you guys I love you so much. I said you guys have become like my new parents. You're not much older than I am, but
I think we're old enough to be your parents, but yeah.
7 weeks in, who knows, right? You guys have given Eric a lot of the credit for what you guys are building, and rightfully so. But you have to remember, Eric wasn't the man he was just because of himself. You two instilled that in him. You raised him to be that kind of man. And you are continuing to be those type of people and continuing to show that he was that kind of man. Because you raised him to be that kind of man. I'm not taking credit away from him. I'm just adding on that you guys should be right there next to him. Okay.
That's a huge compliment. Thank you. That was really thoughtful and very kind. Thank you.
Well, let's call it what it is. A lot of the times when we raise our children, the type of people that they turn out to be is from circumstances that they grew up in. Right? A lot of the times when you see children that have rough past or they're in trouble with the law a lot, it's probably because they didn't have the greatest upbringing.
Sure. Yeah.
Eric was a kind, caring, loving soul.
Mm-hmm.
He had to have gotten it from somewhere. He didn't get it from his Star Wars. If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, go listen to the first podcast. He got it from his mother and his father. He got it from his family. He knew how to treat another human being because of you. So as an amazing man as Eric was, and I'm not taking anything away from him, I think you guys need to give yourselves a little bit more credit here on the type of man that he was. You guys did an amazing job raising an amazing son, and you guys are still raising him up in your own way. Forward Project is a huge thing now. It is getting known all across the world because of you two and Eric and your daughter, because of your family. Because you are the type of people in this world that we need. Eric is the type of human being and inspiration and story that we need. As tragic of a story as it is, his story means something.
Yeah, we want it to mean something. We want him to be remembered.
He is. He absolutely is. For everybody listening, I know it got a little somber there, and I apologize. I do that sometimes. I want everybody to realize that when these type of tragedies happen, we have a choice to make. Do we allow the tragedy and struggle that comes from that tragedy to define us? Or do we take that struggle and we grow from it and we try to become stronger people? Brian and Kendra Ward here, they were probably beat down right when it happened. And that struggle was probably winning. I'm not even going to say probably. That struggle was winning when it was fresh and it was new.
Mm-hmm.
They found a way to grow from that struggle and from that tragedy, to become stronger people, not only for themselves, but for more people like themselves and like Eric. If there were any group of people that I say you need to look up to, it would be these two. You both are an amazing human beings. And I wouldn't be associated with anybody less.
Well,
Trust
we
me,
love you.
if you both were shitheads, we wouldn't be talking right now. Okay, let's call it what it is. All right, there. We'll break it down with some comedy. But yeah, I've been wanting to say this to you guys in a way that it's really hard to find the words, and I want to say the words that mean something to you guys, because I don't think that you guys give yourself the credit that you deserve. Not only for what you're doing in Eric's name, but just for raising the man that he was as well. And I don't ever hear you guys talk about how, oh yeah, when we raised him, we taught him right. We taught him how to treat people. You know, he saw how we treated people, and we're very proud that he picked up those type of traits and became the man that he became. It started with you guys. 7 weeks in, but it started with you guys. And I'm going to keep bringing that up because that's still but it did start with you guys. And the type of people that you have become, I think, is even stronger than what you were before. I didn't know you before, but I have this small inkling that you guys are probably way stronger than you probably ever were before because of this. And it sucks to think that maybe you couldn't have become this strong without what happened. But that's the thing about struggle. We can allow it to break us down or build us up. And I truly believe that you guys found a way to build yourselves up with it at the same time building him up. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You so much.
I am going to, I'm going to stop being all lovey-dovey on you guys. And I am going to allow you to talk a little bit more about what it is and how, you've affected some other people's lives here. You have this brand new flag behind you that has become the Forward Project. Pretty much, it's the Forward Project logo right there behind you guys. You have your son Eric right behind you. For everybody on the YouTube channel, by the way, that young, good-looking man in the background, that is Eric Ward. What has it been like with becoming more established with the Forward Project? And I keep asking where you guys want to go with this because I keep asking you to drop a bean and you still haven't dropped a bean, because that story you shared with the young woman on the boat, you shared on the first podcast, but I didn't want to stop you. I'm fishing. God damn it. Oh God, nothing.
No,
I'm still gonna get nothing.
nothing.
That's okay. You know what? I'll stop asking. Brian, what are you guys doing? Come on, man.
You know, just to answer you, we're just trying to keep things going, and reach more people. So just constantly trying to think of ways to make that happen, to keep people talking. And, you know, the Rock for the Rock idea and all of that, you know, realistically, it's probably not going to work, and that's okay. But
no, it's going to
why
work.
Not try? Why not try?
Work. It's going to work. You have people like me, and trust me, I'll get Pops 951 on it. I'll get Infantry Guru on it. I will get some people on this. Trust me, it will happen.
That would be awesome.
So you guys, just basically the idea is to continue spreading the word of awareness and what this is all about. Have you guys gone to any type of public speaking events and shared your story?
No, we have not.
Has that been an idea?
Not really.
Not really. We haven't been asked. And again, I think I'm a behind the scenes person.
Yeah.
So, I prefer that, but no one has asked, but that's okay. I don't know. I mean,
I'm asking.
You're going to.
I'm asking. So
we kind of feel like with the platform we have, especially on TikTok, that's a lot of our public speaking, putting the message out and things like that. As far as what we went through with meeting other couples and things like that, especially early on, that one-on-one has a really special meaning for us, and a very, very heartfelt connection to helping those people the best we could. And as a couple of years went on, we kept being asked to come back to talk to other couples, which we did. And I like that one-on-one, the connection that we had with those people, doing whatever we could to help them through what was brand new for them. And, at that point in time was a year plus too old for us. And, but no, we really haven't, other than you, Josh, we haven't bared our souls to the public. So, yeah.
Well, the reason why I asked is because it's like you said, when you do that one-on-one and people are asking about your story and everything else, what they're learning is a new perspective.
Yeah.
They're learning a different way to look at the situation that they're in because your situation is very similar.
Yeah.
And I am actually going to be recording with Miss Melissa. And I told her about you two. I told her about For a Project, and I would like to get you two in touch with her because I think she's still in that process as well. And she has 2 daughters. And, it's not a son, but it is a family member.
Right.
Somebody that they loved. And you guys have found a process that is working for you now and that is healthy, that is beneficial to not only yourself, but to a lot of other people that hear your story. And so I think that if not only we can bring awareness to the veterans out there that's saying, hey, you're not alone, we're here for you. I think you guys can actually be a huge benefit to those that maybe we didn't reach that person in time, but we can help the people from the outcome of that. What Makes Us Fire, that was brought up to me. Oh no, Kendra, you're gonna hate me if I
There he is.
Yeah,
there he is.
Okay.
Yeah, Kendra, when I post this YouTube version, please don't yell at me.
I will destroy you if you show that.
Okay, I'll put like a blurred thing over your face during that.
Wow.
No, dude, it was bad.
I believe you. Yes.
She was like this.
What do you mean? That's how I look.
No, that is not how you look. That's just how the computer froze. It froze on you looking.
Oh wait, I can't. So I do have to say something. So our school is closed, and I'm supposed to do a whole bunch of things to announce that it's closed. So
Mhm.
how long do you foresee us talking? Still?
Probably not about another 20-30 minutes.
Could
Wow.
Could
You guys, we went for almost 3 hours the first time. What do you mean?
Yeah.
I know. I believe you.
It's only been it's been almost 2 hours. It hasn't even been 2 hours yet because it took you 40 minutes to figure
I
out
know.
your situation.
Damn
I
it.
know exactly.
Go
Want to
ahead.
keep talking? Can we take a break and let me go do that? Because
Sure.
like,
Absolutely.
the whole school district is waiting to hear if we're closed or not. So the computer that I do it all on is what I brought down here to use and stuff. So I need to take it back upstairs. So it'll probably be like 15 minutes. Is that okay? Okay.
I'll just edit it out.
Okay. Thank you for waiting. Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on. Check connections here.
No, it wasn't you. I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I muted myself because I was talking to my girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you muted yourself.
Well, what
No.
the hell kind of conversation did you think we were having, Kendra?
You are a young man. I can only imagine. So
Kendra, how old are you again?
48.
You are literally only 12 years older than I am.
Okay. So in a gross way, I could be your mom, but
I mean, like back in like the freaking Victorian days, maybe.
Yeah,
your
right.
mom.
Yeah, no doubt. No.
So my girlfriend's actually 8 years younger than I am, but she has dated somebody that was 20 years older than she was, or more,
Whew,
or
yeah.
18 years older than she was. So like,
That's a lot. Yeah.
yeah,
To-
I'm 8 years older than she is.
Oh, that's cool. There's a big difference between an 18-year-old and a 26-year-old compared to a 33-year-old and a 39-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, she's 28. I'm 36. So
yeah. So no,
she's still in her 20s. She's still in her 20s. She's still in her, go me, high five.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She actually gave me a high five for that, babe.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Where's Brian? What is he doing?
He is on the phone. He will be back shortly. But
Cool.
Thank you for taking that break. Yeah, I told the superintendent that likely when they were going to call it, I was going to be doing this, but he called it at 7:30 and I was like, shit, I better go take care of this before people start freaking out. So
But you're good. You're good. That's the great thing about editing. I can just slice it and splice it. So when you listen to the episode, you won't even realize there was.
Oh yeah, break. Totally. No, but that's perfect.
I'm definitely keeping in when I told Brian to go drain his lizard. I'm keeping that in.
Awesome. Yeah, I have to put it on the website, put it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and then I have to call 5 radio stations, and then I have to contact 6 TV stations, and then I have to email it to 1 TV station and 3 newspapers. So I was up there right as fast as possible trying to get that shit done.
You're fine. You're totally fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love hearing you cuss, by the way. It's like I look at you and Brian, like when at first glance and completely profiling, and I know profiling's wrong because Ron Wright says so. Just looking at you guys, you're like, oh, there's that wholesome, loving couple. They probably think cussing's bad. They probably had a "God bless this home" sign somewhere very large. No. Again, just profiling though, just profiling.
No, we blend in, but no. So I grew up in a very Irish household, and then was in the
surprised
Army,
you don't have more kids.
Yeah, and not Catholic, so then that'll do it. So
okay. Yeah,
just the Irish mouth, I think, with the choice of words. So yeah, not at all. But
so you guys are going to be in Vegas this year, though?
Hell yeah!
Are you guys staying at the MGM?
We are. Are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
We got to get together. Cool. I'm bringing some shirts and stuff. What size shirts do you guys wear?
XL for me and 2XL for him.
Okay, I like that's on my shirts are the gender neutral shirts. Like
women's shirts, like you could buy 1 t-shirt from one place and I could get an extra large, but like seriously from another place I could get a XXX and it doesn't fit. I'm not skinny, but I am not a quadruple X for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
ridiculous.
We have a new vendor now. So these shirts are like way better made. The hats are way better made. And
cool.
The back.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's cool. That's cool. That's a great idea. Yeah. I might steal that.
Well, if you do start using the hashtag NOFA, just
that'd be cool, right?
Yeah, I started using that. I haven't seen it used, so any tag that you see with NOFA, is a tag that I actually started.
That's awesome.
No one fights alone.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. Oh, wait, no, I wanted to say too. What size shirt do you wear?
What size shirt do I wear?
Yeah,
medium.
Medium? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so medium in men's is usually the size that I wear. Medium.
Yeah, okay.
I am not that big. I'm actually.
Well, I'm not up top, but it's the down below for the shirt. That's the problem.
I'm not going to talk about your boobs, Kendra.
No, I was talking about my gut.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem.
I totally misread that conversation.
Well, Brian's not here,
Hey, girl. Hey. How you doing?
Right. No. Oh, no, then he comes back. No.
Oh, now he comes back.
He's
Brian, leave. Leave. We're not right now. Come back later.
Right.
Oh, this whole conversation is going to be the opening of the podcast.
Oh my God. Yeah, right. Headline.
Oh, we were talking about how much you guys have grown. Holy crap. I did not think that this idea would be picked up like it has been.
That's so good for you. I'm really glad. It helps in so many ways. It's so good.
We're still trying to get our foundation all lined out and everything. And of course, fundraising is hard as fuck because fundraising costs money, right? It costs money to fundraise.
Right.
And then it's like, why do we only have $12,000 in the bank when we raised $26,000? And it's like, well, because marketing and fundraising isn't cheap.
Doubt. Brian, are you almost done?
Sorry. Sorry.
I don't think I want to know.
You're muted, so I'm just gonna say that you're okay with me telling them what I'm looking at right now. So it's 4:00 in the morning where she's at right now.
Oh, okay. Where's that?
South Africa.
Okay.
A lot of people think it's weird that I have a girlfriend in South Africa.
So what?
I've never met in person.
So?
Exactly.
Doesn't mean anything anymore. Do what makes you happy.
Well, that's the thing. Our relationship has been completely built on communication.
Right. Exactly.
Like nothing else is getting in the way. It's just communication.
Yeah.
But it does suck when sometimes you just want to come home and give her a hug or kiss
No
on cheek
doubt.
or
I know. I felt Brian up in the hallway when we were on our break, so.
The fuck did I
No
miss?
reaction? Okay.
We were just talking about how my girlfriend's in South Africa and then she's bragging on the fact that she gets to feel your dong.
Your girlfriend gets to feel my dong?
No! I mean, she might not be opposed to that. Hold on. She might not be opposed to that.
Wait, let me put on my glasses.
The fact that you just started laughing lets me know that you know what an upside down pineapple means.
Oh, God.
Yes, I actually just learned what that means. Somebody was saying, maybe it was a Facebook post or something, saying that their parents had like outfitted their RV with the decor of pineapples and then learned what it meant. And I'm like, what does it mean? Oh.
Yeah, that child found out their parents like to share each other. Babe, apparently you might be touching Brian's dong.
She's like, but I haven't seen him yet.
I'm going to tell you right now, she didn't say no.
Wow.
Oh, wow. It'll most likely be edited out, but I will send you this clip, and you missed a little bit of the conversation Brian, me and Kendra had. As a matter of fact, can you leave real quick? We got stuff to talk about.
Oh my God.
I thought I came in right at the perfect time for dong touching, but okay.
No, you
dong touching.
I don't know why I said dong. I need to learn new words. So. I apologize. Hold on.
See, when I saw that face, I knew what he was looking at something.
I have no idea what he's looking at.
I recognize.
I'm staring
that
at my girlfriend's bare ass is what I'm
see. I knew the face, right?
Sorry, I told them you're going to be touching his dong. Okay, I think we passed that whole barrier. Anyway, I'm going to jump back into the conversation. We can get a little.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
You are committed to the dong touching.
Oh, baby, you are committed to the dong touching. Sorry. I am sorry I've committed you to the dong touching. Again, she's not saying no. She's just looking at me like, really?
That's hysterical.
He is not like, so she's dated somebody, she's 8 years younger than I am, but she's dated somebody that's like 20 something years older than she is. So you're within range, Brian.
Within range. That's hilarious.
All right. We were talking about you guys sharing your story, and I wanted to get you guys in touch with Miss Melissa because she had a similar story to her husband, and I really did think that you two would be somebody. You two would be somebody. That doesn't make any sense.
You never know.
You two would be a couple that would.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Words are hardest after a little bit of whiskey, but you two would be people that could reach out and have that personal conversation with her, because she does sound like she's still struggling a little bit. And I'm actually really happy because I reached out to her to share her story on the podcast, because she is starting to share her story on social media.
How long ago was that, Josh, for her?
I believe it was last year. It was very, very recent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very recent. And so she's starting to share that story and how people within that community that he was a part of are trying to keep her hush hush about it. And they don't, and they don't want their name to be looked at in a bad light. So they're trying to devalue what she's saying.
Yeah.
So I believe that you guys can probably help her. Just as a friend to a friend, I would ask you to talk to her.
Yeah, sure.
But she's going to come on the podcast and share her story, because I want to give her a platform to share her story with a lot more people. She is nowhere near the creator status that I mean, she only has like 6,000 followers, but that doesn't matter.
No, not at all.
I don't look for people that just have a massive following. It's not what this is about. What this is about sharing the stories that we have when it comes to dealing with our civil service members, with anybody really dealing with mental health issues, and
absolutely
being affected by the outcomes of those mental health issues. And one of those outcomes is suicide. So I am wanting her to share her story because I believe that she's going to help a lot of other spouses that don't know what to do. And she's starting that process of being brave enough to share her story, being brave enough to share the trials and tribulations of everything that is being now a single parent to children of a fallen husband. I think that you guys could be, I know, Kendra, you said you're not great at being in front of the camera, or being in front of people, but I think when you start talking about a subject that you truly believe in and that you have a lot of passion behind, you'll forget that you're talking in front of a lot of people, because the passion will overtake that idea that you're publicly speaking. That passion will overtake the fear, because your message means so much more.
I completely agree with you. See, the thing is I can do it. It's not something I pursue because I enjoy it, you know? So yeah. And this is something that we both absolutely wholeheartedly believe in. So yeah, it makes sense, you know?
So good. Once we have the motivational speaking program of the What Makes Us Fire up, I can count on both of you.
It just fell right into that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
That was not a setup at all.
No, it was not a setup at all. No, I told you we have a motivational speaking part of the nonprofit that we're developing, where people like yourselves, people that have some type of influence on social media or media wise in general, will come and share their stories about the mental health aspects of mental health, of life within that. And, you know, being survivors or being affected by being associated with people that have lost their battle with their mental health, those people have a voice just as much as the people that are dealing with it. And I truly believe that you two can be those people. It was brought to my attention a little while ago by somebody in one of our board meetings for the nonprofit that what are we doing for the families?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what do you mean? What are we doing for the families? And they said, well, we're helping the civil service member and we're doing everything we can for them. But what if we don't reach that in time? And now the families are having to deal with the consequences of what happened. Never crossed my mind. And I'm ashamed to say it. It never crossed my mind. I've had you on the podcast. I've talked to you guys already, and it still didn't cross my mind.
I think that's totally excusable though, because I've had revelations too of, wow, I can't believe that didn't occur to me. I'm living this every single day.
Yeah.
Someone's viewpoint or other details that may have happened. I could be as vague or as detailed as I want, but that's okay,
Well,
you learned it.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was so concentrated on keeping it from getting to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was so concentrated on stopping it from even having to be an issue for the family. Yeah. I forgot that there's going to be times where we might not reach somebody. Right. There might be times where we just got there a little too late. Yeah. And the families sacrificed just as much as the civil service member that they had. So we are actually currently right now, we're developing a program and process for the families of fallen civil service members to suicide, to receive and get the same treatment and the same benefits that What Makes Us Fire gives to that civil service member to their families.
Wow.
So if there is a spouse, if there are parents, if there are siblings that are having a really, really tough time and feel like they would benefit from going to an inpatient mental health facility for the depression caused by the trauma that they went through by losing that loved one, mm-hmm. What Makes Us Fire will also cover them just the same way we would with that civil service member. So if that individual is working and they have to leave work for that certain amount of time, we'll supplement their income.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Take care of the payments for the treatment. We'll help with the mortgage. We'll help with their car bills. We'll help with taking care of their family by getting the groceries.
Yeah.
They're going to get the same.
When somebody's already dealing with all of that, to then have all those other burdens, maybe if they lost the majority of their income or all of their income by the person not being with us any longer, those things you can't avoid.
Yeah.
You can't, if your home is going to be taken away, where your children are going to live, there's so many more layers after that. So to remove that burden from them, that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's what we're working on. And you froze again?
You froze too.
Briefly.
Yeah. I thought you were listening intently because you were kind of like,
I was listening intently. I was listening intently, but you were also like,
he was thinking about my dog.
No, that was Bianca.
No, that was you. Just admit
it. Brian, I've given you a hug before. I know what's down there. Can't say that I'm too impressed. Anyway, but yeah, I think that you guys can make a huge difference in sharing your stories. So, and I really do think that I want to talk to you guys more about being involved with What Makes Us Fire and maybe helping me develop that a little bit better. I'm not saying become a part of What Makes Us Fire, but definitely get your ideas and collaborate with you guys on how I can make that work, because I am the civil service member that had to deal with it. Right. So for me, it's a different perspective. Mm-hmm. I need another perspective from individuals that have suffered from their loved one who was a civil service member losing their life to this. Sure. And you two have been so outspoken about it and so open and honest about it. Who better than to get advice from on how we as a nonprofit could help individuals like yourself?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, Josh, can I ask you a question?
No. Yes, of course.
It might be difficult. But in the grand scheme of things, and obviously the topics of conversation with regards to suicide, what stopped?
I couldn't find the ammunition, which gave me just long enough to battle within myself and finally start asking the question in my head, what the fuck are you doing?
And what answers did you give yourself?
I didn't know. At that time, I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. It's hard to explain what happened to people that don't, or that haven't gone through something like that. When I was going through the actual experience, it started with an argument, like all things do, but the stress got so much in my head that I don't even remember what the argument was about. I just remember feeling like this needs to stop. I just don't need to be here anymore. This is ridiculous. But at the same time, I remember thinking, while I'm getting the rifle out, while I'm looking for the ammunition, while I'm pulling a trigger or like on the trigger of an empty fucking rifle, and I'm pissed off that I can't find the ammunition and all this other things. There's this other part of my head that's thinking, what are you doing? This is so stupid. What the fuck are you doing? Stop doing this. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. Like, this is wrong. This is so wrong. What are you doing? But the other part of my brain at the same time was just like, find this fucking ammunition, put it in the damn barrel and pull the fucking trigger, get it done and over with. Let's just get it done and over with. And it's hard to explain to people that thought process that goes on when I was in that state of mind. I wasn't thinking rationally. Part of my brain was thinking rationally, but the emotional part of my brain was thinking irrationally because it was emotional and it was just wanting the pain to stop.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain that thought. It was like there was two different me's fighting at the same time.
And the reason that it's important that I ask that question is we'll never have the answers as to what Eric was thinking, but we'll never stop searching for whatever reasoning there might have been in that moment.
I'm not Eric, and I will never claim to speak for him. But being somebody that has battled with depression to the point where I was almost there, I can say that it probably got to a point where that other voice got silenced by the emotional voice. That other voice that was telling him, no, it can be okay. No, what are you doing? This is wrong. That emotional voice just got a little bit louder.
Yeah.
And when we are battling with depression and we have that disease, because it is a disease, depression is a disease, it's a chemical imbalance in our brains. When that chemical imbalance is insurmountable, there's sometimes there's no turning back, because it takes treatment, takes medication, takes therapy, takes psychiatric, it takes patience, it takes a very long process for you to go through it, and it takes awareness and being okay with knowing you're not okay. And that's a hard thing to do for a lot of people. It was hard for me to do. Shit, it was so hard that I almost didn't do it. It's going to sound, I don't know, it's going to sound weird, but I would venture to say Eric was probably sicker than I was when it came to his mental health. He was probably just a little bit more sick than I was. And that's why he wasn't able to overcome that at that moment.
Yeah.
It was just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that. Remember, our emotions and our thoughts and everything else are chemicals being released in our brain.
Yep, exactly.
That's what they are. And sometimes our brains fuck us. Simple as that.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I think Eric was just probably a little bit more sick with his depression than I was. And it's not an excuse, but it's a reason. It's a logical reason. It's one that can make sense in a logical way. Because when we try to think about it in an emotional way, it'll never make sense.
Yeah.
It'll never make sense in an emotional way. No way. It'll never make sense. But logically speaking, breaking it down just to a scientific level, his brain was producing those chemicals that couldn't allow him to stop. And unfortunately, he was just a little too sick with depression. And I don't know if that helps or makes it worse or better, but logically speaking, scientifically speaking, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. No, you're on target. You absolutely are.
So, I appreciate that question because I don't get a lot of people asking me exactly what it was like for me going through what I went through and what that experience was. And I can tell you right now, had you asked me that the first podcast, I'd be in fucking tears right now, barely being able to speak. I know that instance, and what happened was the reason why my life is what it is now. But at the same time, had I not gone through it, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have created the nonprofit. I wouldn't have this podcast, and I wouldn't have helped people that I've said I've helped them. Yeah. So
thank you for taking the time to answer that.
No, of course. And right now what you're seeing is that you're seeing the emotion come out because I'm not going to put myself on Eric's level, but I know. No, I don't know. I understand that emotion he was feeling. I understand that emotion he was feeling. You guys can't hear a word I'm saying.
Okay, it just came back. Sorry.
Of course.
I know the.
Are you on Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Why don't you get off of that and go to the regular?
We have to be on Wi-Fi. There's no jack down here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Please go ahead.
Lost him again.
Damn it! You're gone again.
Wow.
Ay.
No, this is perfect. This is perfect because now I can wipe my tears away and just edit all this out.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. This is literally Murphy's Law. Literally.
Yeah.
Let's just say I don't want to put myself on Eric's level, but talking to you guys, like I truly hope I can help give you better understanding as to what may have been going on through his head.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're obviously two different people, but I know what it's like to deal with depression. Yeah. I know the commonalities of depression and the common thought processes that people have with depression because I went through it. And
well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that.
Well, really. It's like what we were talking about earlier, how you guys can help other individuals that have gone through similar situations because you are willing to share it because you have gone through it. You have the experience of it. Mm-hmm. So, I'm really glad you guys didn't hear me cry.
Aw.
No, it's okay.
Gosh, I'm going to tell you right now.
I actually don't.
I do it.
I wouldn't give a crap.
Whenever it hits me.
Yeah, I do it too. So, I really do. Like I said, though, I really do appreciate you asking me because it's not very often that people ask me to relive that. And like I said before, had you asked me that question the first round, it would have been really hard, really, really hard. But we're going to move on to a lighter note.
Okay.
That I see that flag behind you, and I've been wanting to ask you about it this entire time, because I noticed that the Forward Project logo kind of changed a little bit since the last time we talked.
Yep.
So what is up with all of that?
Oh, we needed to have more than just the name logo. So, Brian found a graphic that he liked. And I was like, hey, that's great. So, I got a similar file and put a shield on it and added the words and thought, this is kick ass because it's totally like on target for what we're doing, but also you're not going to like this part, but it's kind of a Spartan head, and Eric was, along with me, Michigan State Spartan fan, so living in Ohio, but anyway.
I'll just associate it with the movie 300.
There you go. Yeah, totally.
Still badass.
Right.
Still badass.
So,
no, it really does. I love that. Do you guys have that in vinyl stickers?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good, because I want to put it on the back of my truck.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I got to show them the back of the shirt then.
Okay.
My logo.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Nope.
Yeah, well, you didn't see we're doing this now because we have NOFA.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
No fights alone.
Badass.
Yeah. Where can people get some of this gear, and where do
It's on the website.
Go? Where do the proceeds go for all this stuff?
Whichever organization we're working with at the time, or a few different ones. So almost all that we deal with are related to helping veterans and working on 22 a day. But there are some other things we do off on the side. So like Eric was very involved with community service, and he did toy drives for kids.
Yeah.
So we occasionally donate to like Toys for Tots, or he loved animals. Animals are a big part of all of our lives. So we still have Eric's dog and cat, actually, Sam and Raven.
Oh, Raven. I like that name, Raven.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
She's 17 years old now.
So
yeah. Wow.
We also donate to the Humane Society, and our Erica Eric on the brain in our area.
Eric, I'm sorry she called you Erica.
I know. Oh my gosh. I combined Eric and area. And they put his name up on the wall at the Humane Society in Erie County, Ohio. Okay. And but anyway, all of the items are on our website, forwardproject.com.
Do you guys post or put up on the website what nonprofits you guys are working with at the time?
Yes. Usually after we donate, that's usually what we do.
That does not sound like a happy cat.
I don't have my hearing aid or my headphones on, but
she's our little old lady Raven.
That's one angry pussy.
She's afraid the dogs might be in, and they're not. So we have 4 dogs. So we have a great recreation photo of Eric holding her when he was a little kid, and then holding her again when he was 18. We recreated all of these kid photos of him. The best one, though, was when he was probably like 8 months old. I took him to like Walmart it was Walmart. And they put him in this metal bucket, and they put a rubber duck in front of the bucket and then a little blue towel. And he was holding on, but he couldn't hold his head up all the way. So he had to have been younger than 9 months. But anyway, he was in the bucket going like this, but she caught him at the perfect moment.
Smiling.
And he was just like, so we recreated that photo. We bought a metal trash can, and he bent his legs and got down in it. And he was like, out of it. Yeah, to get him out. He couldn't get out because his legs were bent and he was down in it. So Brian had to lift him out. It was hysterical.
The fact that you guys convinced your teenage son to do that.
Oh God, he was hilarious. So yeah, those are on my Facebook, since we're Facebook friends. If you ever go look, you'll see those.
Yeah. I tell you what, I feel like I've met him.
Like I've had enough.
I feel like I've met Eric. I obviously I've never have, but I feel like I know who he is because of the stories that you tell, right? And the things that he did. Like, I feel like if him and I were to hang out, he'd probably look at me and be like, that Josh dude's a little crazy. But but he would still be that good friend. He was that friend in a group of friends that everybody loves, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, how does everybody love him? And even if you don't like him, he liked you. But if he didn't like you, you're probably the problem, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's that one person that everybody loves, and he loves everybody. And if you don't like him and he doesn't like you, you're the problem, not him. So I feel like that's the kind of individual he was. And
no, that's on target. 7 people called him their best friend.
Yeah. And I can see why. The stories alone. Jesus Christ, what'd you do to that cat?
Yes.
She's on the staircase now, and she's gotten into this habit. If she goes to the staircase when the dogs are outside and she screams like that, she thinks she's going to get a can of tuna.
Because he gives it to her.
Once a week, I give her a can of tuna.
She doesn't know what day of the week it
exactly.
is.
So every day is tuna day for her.
We're towards the end of the podcast, and all we hear is an angry pussy.
I know, right?
I should let Leia in. That'll take care of that. So.
Well, then Boba will be in.
Yeah.
So we're on a Star Wars kick now with naming our dogs. So
you got Boba, like
Boba, like Boba Fett.
Like Boba Fett, and who else?
Leia.
Yeah.
So
Leia she was a bit of a bitch. So that makes sense.
She's the OG. So yeah, Boba Fett and Leia just came in. So we got Boba about 5 months after losing Eric, and he's been that dog just saved us sometimes. I tell you, he's amazing.
Have you guys thought about getting or looking into an emotional support animal? I know you have your animals and they do emotionally support you, but something that was
that's why that was bad.
Something that was specially trained to.
We actually got an Australian Shepherd before getting these 2 minis, and we kind of thought about that with her. Because she's such a great dog too. And things just kind of work themselves out basically. So Boba Fett now wants to murder anyone on the planet that is not us. And
it's true.
It keeps other people away, which is like awesome most of the time. And but he's the most loving thing on the planet for us. Like that dog just wants to cuddle, and he's so adorable. Like it makes those brain chemicals do good things, for sure. He is just something else, but we're getting what we need, essentially. Oh,
there it is.
Yeah.
So that's Bo.
And then his twin is worming her way in. Yes, I know you're mad because you're not up here. Come here.
Love it.
Come here.
Love it. So where do we go from here?
He's gonna rip the thing off the wall.
Sorry.
It's all right. So where do we go from here with Forward Project?
What has he caught on here?
Hold on, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I love this. Look,
there we go.
Everybody listening, that's the whole point of all of this, right? The people that I have on the podcast and the people that are willing to share their stories and share the experiences they had and helping kill the stigma that is talking about our mental health and the things that we go through dealing with our mental health and the outcome of losing battles with our mental health. We're normal human beings.
Yeah.
We're normal people and we're normal families. And when you hear this podcast and you guys hear what's going on in my guests' homes with their kids yelling and screaming in the background, with their dogs and cats being angry and, dong touching, it's all to share the fact that we are normal human beings and we go through these tragedies and these trials in life that sometimes we do not ask for.
Yeah.
And it's how we approach those situations and those struggles that are going to build us to be better people than we were the day before. And Brian and Kendra, honestly, I've said it before, you two are a shining example of what that means. So, where are we taking Forward Project from here?
You know, we just hope he's enthusiastic, but we just hope to keep growing and make more connections. We've made so many amazing connections with people. Of course, you, but so many other people too. I know, right? Okay, we fulfilled our contract, but anyway. No.
Yes, I paid them to say that. Actually, no,
absolutely.
Apparently, I got my girlfriend to touch Brian's dong to say that.
Right?
She's laughing, so I know it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay for me to actually publish that part. But okay, so we'll go on to a little bit more lighter notes. I want first, before we do, I want to say thank you guys as always. Y'all have not only helped support me in the nonprofit, but you've helped support me and what I was going through at times. You both reached out to me when I was having a pretty rough time, without even me asking. And I cannot thank you both enough for that, because I was in a pretty rough spot. Like I said before on that first podcast, you guys have become you're my new parents. You're my new friends. You're my new family. And I am so grateful that I hounded you to be on the podcast and I stalked you for a little bit.
So are we.
Yeah.
Really.
You know, I truly believe what you guys are doing in Eric's name and for others that have gone through similar situations. You guys have this platform that you're not only bringing awareness to the 22 day, but you're also being there for people that have suffered through the 22 a day. And that is such an amazing thing that I can't thank you both enough for the strength that you have shown, for the struggle that you show, for the emotion that you show, because it's honest and it's real and it sometimes sucks, but you guys aren't afraid to show it. And that means a lot. And I can't be more thankful to have you guys in my life now. On a lighter note, Brian, question is directed at you. When are we going to see more of these solo videos on your social media?
Solo videos.
Yeah, you're filthy.
I'm
from
covered
the
in dog. Yeah, the dogs are out in the mud.
There was a couple of videos back in the day that you made on your own on the Forward Project that were pretty humorous. I haven't seen one in a while.
Yeah, I know. And the reason for that is, as much as I love the humor side of that, I try to post those on my personal page versus Forward, because I don't want to do something to detract from our message.
I challenge you to think of it as actual part of the message, to show that because you went through something like this doesn't mean you can't get back to having a good time in life.
Yeah.
So I think you showing that on the Forward Project page would actually still help. I think it would still show that, yeah, we are struggling. Yes, we still deal with this, but we have found a way to still enjoy life.
Yeah.
So I would challenge you to consider it, more for my benefit than anything else, but because I really do like those videos. They're freaking hilarious. Like, I remember the one where Kendra was like in the background going, "No, stupid, you're supposed to say this. No, say this." Like, yeah, like Bianca's looking at me right now, like, I can't believe you said that, or why? But yeah, I think that when you can show that even though the struggle happened, even though the tragedy happened, you have found a way to continue living life. I think that's still a part of the message. I think that's a part of the message.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you both can show that even though your mission is what it is, the tragedy does no longer define your life.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm challenging you on it. I probably still won't see it, but
We actually did do one recently, and it was that, rare one where I made a complete fool of myself. So I am a terrible actor. I'm like the worst liar. I'm the worst actor.
You talking about on my page?
No, we did it on your account, but we also posted it to the Ward page. So it's if you look in our history, he's wearing a cowboy hat.
Oh God!
And you don't see me at the beginning, but I make a little appearance. So.
What were you wearing?
That is a no-go.
All right. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and wind it down. I know it's getting a little late, and I actually interrupted y'all's work time and everything else. You guys got a storm to prepare for. Everybody listening, do me a favor. Go check out Forward Project. Check out Brian and Kendra Ward. If you like what they've got, which I know you will, give them a follow. Become a part of the Forward Project family. I asked these two to be on a podcast about a year ago, and they said yes. And they shared their story about their son and how they made it through that and how they turned this tragedy into something so much bigger than just the tragedy, that it's affecting people's lives in such a positive way. A lot of us at times don't think that some type of tragedies like this can even turn into anything positive. And the tragedy itself is not a positive thing, but the outcome and what we turn it into and our perception of what we can make it mean to us can be positive. And that's what these two did. So go give them a follow, check them out. Number 4, WARD Project. No spaces or underscores or anything like that. It's on all the social media. You'll find them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I think Twitter as well.
Yep.
As Forward Project. Go check out the links, get some of their gear. You're helping other nonprofits that help fight the 22 a day. And share this podcast. Go listen to their first episode. If this is the first time you're hearing Brian and Kendra Ward, you're not going to get a lot of the jokes that we have. Listen to their love story and what that turned out to be and how they grew 2 beautiful children that made differences in people's lives. Unfortunately, their son was battling depression. And for a period, that tragedy from that depression defined them. But they learned to not allow it to define them anymore and to honor their son's name. It's no longer just a tragedy. And to hear that story, the first episode's a little bit more raw. It's a little bit more in depth. This is a little bit more lighthearted, especially with the dong touching. But I want you guys to realize that it doesn't always have to be the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It is the hardest thing in the world, but it doesn't always have to be that. When I end my episodes, I asked you guys 3 questions, right? You remember those 3 questions? I asked you 3. Brian, you are dirty as fuck, bro.
I know. The damn dog.
I know. I'm covering mine with my hair.
Yeah. I asked you guys 3 questions, and I could basically ask the same ones because I think that, time changes the answers, and obviously we're at a different time, but we're on the Forward Project podcast and you guys are interviewing yourselves. What's one piece of information or a question you would ask yourselves that we didn't touch on?
Wow, I don't even remember what I said last time. So
That's okay. Neither do I.
yeah, right.
Completely honest, I don't remember what you said. No, it was how'd you make it through, or it was something to that effect. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you should take this one. Can you got an answer?
It could be a question you would have asked yourselves or a piece of information, something that we didn't necessarily hit on that maybe you thought we should have hit on this time.
I guess maybe it would be about how nice yet surprising it's been, how receptive so many people have been to what we're doing. So, sometimes we ask creators to if they'll accept a rock, and if the message gets through to them, they say yes. And we understand that some people are just so bombarded with comments, they just don't see our comments, and that's okay. Or maybe they're not interested, and that's okay too. That's totally fine with us. But so there's someone on TikTok who has really exploded, and the channel is Under the Desk News, and their name is V Spahar, I believe is how you say the last name. I'm so sorry if I'm saying the last name wrong. Anyway, I just noticed so much compassion in the reporting and how stories are handled in a very deliberate attempt to be fair and firm and knowledgeable, and but also delivered in a format on TikTok where people are going to listen, because you have to do it in a very short video. And I just felt like this seems like a good person. So I reached out and said, you just seem like a kind soul. I would love to send you a rock. I'm not doing this to get it on your social media channel, which is super popular. I just like to do this sometimes for people that I think would appreciate it. And they said yes, and has made very supportive, kind comments since then on social media, and then featured the rock in a video. And it was just done so kindly. It wasn't, hey, check out these people, which I didn't want, So just when those sorts of things happen, that's like things I just didn't expect, when you make those quality connections with quality people. That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. I can relate to that, because I've been saying this lately, that I'm going to preface this by saying the nonprofit is not going to fail, because I'm not going to allow it to fail. But God forbid something were to happen that I have no control over whatsoever, and the nonprofit had to dissolve, I wouldn't consider it a total failure, because of the people that I have met and the connections that I have made.
It's amazing.
Except for you, Brian. Kidding. That's a joke. That was a joke, kind of.
Kind of.
No, seriously though, you two have become family, and the fact that I can even joke with you like that just shows what I mean by saying that. You have become family. And
agreed. Yes.
The connections that we have made, and the fact that we keep in touch, the fact that we still comment on each other's videos and text each other every now and then, whatever the case may be, it means a lot. It means a lot. And I have been blown away at this algorithm TikTok has to get you in touch with those people.
I know. Agreed. Absolutely. It is pretty amazing. That's something I started to say a long time ago and got off on a tangent, but you know what? When I brought up the video about Logan and how so many people are touched by it and it's being seen by a lot of people. That same video is on our Facebook page and our Instagram and our Twitter, and it just doesn't get pushed out the same because we're not this giant famous page. So there is a real difference between the platforms in allowing you to reach different people, new people, and relevant people to what you're talking about or trying to do. You know, people who want to see that. That is the difference. For that video to, I don't know, it was 300,000 or something after a day compared to on Facebook and Instagram, 200.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It really
it's
is.
crazy. I can post one of my videos to every single group that I'm a part of, to the What Makes Us Fire page, everything else, and I might get like 1,000 views on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That same video on TikTok will be like at 10,000 views in a couple of hours, and it's like, what? And
Absolutely.
like with all the things TikTok has and all the complaints that people have about it, there's something to be said about this algorithm, which is a little creepy that it gives you in touch with that many people. But at the same time, it's amazing that a simple math equation gets you in touch with that kind of people. And it's a math equation. That's what an algorithm is. It's so weird. I thought you guys froze because you guys are both looking at me like,
you did for just a second.
Just a brief minute.
Yeah.
Mhm.
oh, okay.
You're okay now.
All right. The second question I always ask you guys is, do you have any questions for me? Brian asked me one earlier, and that was during a conversation, so that one doesn't count.
Oh, you got to take this one because I took the last hard one
that's
after
fine.
thinking about it. So please do.
I think we're froze. We're froze again, though, aren't we?
Nope.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. He just looked bored for a minute.
I'm just waiting for your brain to work to ask me a question, bro.
What goal do you have as far as any specific person that you would like to have on your podcast?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't.
Really?
Yeah. To be honest with you, there's no one specific person that I am just trying to get on the podcast. I want anybody and everybody that's willing to come on to the show and share their story and to help me kill the stigma that is talking about mental health openly and honestly.
That's awesome.
And it can be somebody that has 300 followers. It can be somebody that has 7.5 million followers, like the Great Londini. Don't get me wrong. I completely understand the significance of having somebody like the Great Londini compared to somebody that has only a few hundred, right? I understand the significance of what that means for the nonprofit and the exposure that we can get. I get that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the actual person, as long as they're willing to share their story and to be open and honest and caring about and truly care about helping me kill that stigma, I want them on the show. So there's no one specific person. Yeah. I want anybody and everybody that's willing to share their story. But I got to be careful, because when I say that out loud, a lot of people are like, well, I have a story. Well, I have a story. Well, I have a story.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do the dick measuring contest here, people. I want you to be willing. I'm not willing to do the dong measuring.
You started it. I don't want to hear it.
He didn't hear me say that. She's watching a TV show right now. Oh God. And for me, there's no one specific person, man. I'm going to talk to anybody and everybody. I don't care how popular they are, how famous they are. I don't care about how unknown they are. If they have a story and they're willing to share it in an open, honest way, not to just have some type of notoriety.
Right.
Yeah,
Just say,
yeah.
because I've had some people, they'll be like, well, I've been through this. Well, I've been through this. You should have me on the show. And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah,
I'm not
red
trying
flag. Look for a spotlight. Yeah.
I'm not trying to devalue the fact that they've been through something,
Mhm.
but when they try to glorify the fact that they went through something,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
gotta be very careful with that. You gotta be very
Yep.
careful with that.
Yep.
You know, people will share their stories when they're ready, not because it's going to help them be popular.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
But yeah, no, Brian, there's no one specific person. There's not one
Okay.
specific person.
So third question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you had one for
Well, I
us.
thought you had one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you had one. I was like, yeah, okay, go ahead. I am ready. I can answer questions all day. My last question is, what gives you guys the fire to continue?
I know what I want to say. You
Go
can
ahead.
go ahead if you want.
Go ahead.
I'm just really motivated to make sure that he's not the guy that died. I want to talk about how Eric lived and help continue that. That's the primary one.
So the people remember his smile, his life, all the positive things he did, not the last 10 seconds of his life.
Right.
He's so much more than the sum of the end of his life.
When people think about Eric, they are not thinking about his last 10 seconds. When people think about Forward Project and Eric Ward, they're thinking about the people that he is helping, his name is helping. They're thinking about what his name is doing to bring awareness. They're thinking about the kind acts that he has done and that his parents continue to do. They're not thinking about him as a statistic. I promise you that.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that reassurance.
I'm telling you, you guys are accomplishing your goal. Eric is not a statistic, and none of our veterans or first responders that succumb to suicide are just a statistic.
Right.
But you guys have made the tragedy into something so much more that I don't even think people, they sympathize and empathize with the tragedy, but that's not what they tie his name to anymore. His name is not tied to the tragedy. His name is tied to Forward Project. His name
Thank you for
is
that.
tied to helping others.
That's what we want his legacy to be, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That's what it is. And it's because of you. Both of you. And your daughter. And everyone else showing you guys support. But that support came because you both were willing to be strong enough to do it. Give yourself the credit too. Please give yourself the credit too. As much as Eric has done, remember, you raised him. He became the man he was because of you. Don't take that away from yourselves. Please do not take that away from yourselves. You both are amazing human beings.
Thank you, Josh.
We need more people like you in the world. And I am fucking blessed to be able to call you friends and family.
We feel the same way about you,
Definitely.
so thank you.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And on that note,
before their Wi-Fi cuts out again, and I
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I get all deep and somber, and I have to edit out that first part.
Exactly.
So where can people find you?
Well, we're going to go to Vegas in April for the Cheer Choice Awards. I think that's April 7,
7th,
8, 9,
9,
something like that. We'll be there the weekend afterward. And we're going to see you there.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be
And
there.
Going to hug the shit out of you. Right?
Well, I like I said, I've given Brian a hug, so I know what's down there. I've given you both a hug, yeah. So What Makes Us Fire family, if you guys aren't aware, myself, What Makes Us Fire, and the Forward Project were nominated for the Cheer Choice Awards put on by Spread the Cheer USA. It's an amazing organization that helps needy families and children during the holiday season. They are a 501c3 nonprofit foundation, and they're putting on this award show for social media creators that are making a difference not only on social media but within their communities and throughout the world. And I am honored and blessed to be among you guys in 2 of the categories. So
Love that.
I know those categories that I'm in. If you guys are in, I don't stand a chance in hell. So
Oh, no.
but
No.
I like, again, my whole thing was just to be on the ballot with some of these people.
Yep.
And I cannot believe that we are on the ballot with some of these people. It's like Ed Dudes, JT Laybourne, the great Ondini, like our names are right there next to theirs, with people thinking that we make just as big of a difference as they do. And
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, what? Anyway,
No, I know what you mean.
I do want to thank you guys for coming on the show. I apologize for all the technical difficulties, and I apologize
It's all
for
good.
my frustration getting the best of me. I love you both, and I can't thank you both enough for sharing your story the way you guys do, and for coming back on the show and kind of catching up and letting people know and sharing our mission and our messages about talking about what's going on openly and honestly.
Well, we all keep working together. We
Yep.
can make a difference.
Absolutely. More hands make lighter work. So
Mhm.
we'll continue to work together. Like I said, I am going to ask you guys to be a part of the motivational speaking part.
Well,
I
thank
think Brian just standing up there doing this and me talking, it'd be great. It'll work out
With my-
perfectly.
Dog's dirt soaked
Yes, I
shirt.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No
Absolutely.
doubt. No doubt.
I cannot wait to see you guys in Vegas. If there's anything I can do to help out with Forward Project and everything else, please let me know. I apologize for keeping you guys on so late.
It's all good, dude.
But seriously, I love you guys, and I can't thank you enough.
Hey, we love you too, and this has been great. We really appreciate you having us on here. It's also just fun to talk to you. But
Yes.
I have to give my shout out too that I totally forgot to say. You asked about the flag,
Yes.
and we started talking about the logo on it. This flag was made by another one of Eric's best friends, Mikey,
Yeah.
and it was a surprise gift for us. He also made one for our daughter Bailey, and we love it. It was so cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
You guys should actually put those on the store. Just saying.
We should. I think people would like them too. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I there's a place in this RV somewhere. I'm sure I can find it. Good place. I really should.
Awesome.
All right. What Makes Us Fire family? This was Brian and Kendra Ward, creators, founders of the Forward Project, in the name of their son, Eric Ward. Go give him a follow. Check him out. Support the cause. Have fun. Stay safe. Show some love and peace out in the world. You never know who's going to need it. You'll never know if you're going to be the one to make the difference. And being that difference just feels really good. Be the change you want to see in the world without letting the world dictate how you see that change happen. Just be the best version of yourself for yourself, and I promise you that change will come. Peace.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know. When you're listening to the episode, especially if you're watching it on YouTube, there were some pretty significant edits that you can see. We had a little bit of technical difficulty during the podcast, and I apologize for that, but I tried to edit the best way I could. Look, here's the thing. The idea was put out there, and the message got across either way. Brian and Kendra Ward are amazing human beings. If nothing else, that's what this episode is meant for. To show them appreciation. The fact that they share their stories in hopes to help other people that have to go through similar situations as they went through. Even though it hurts telling a story every single time, it doesn't stop them. It doesn't give them pause anymore. They're willing to tell the story. Bluntly. Honestly. And I think that's the way the stories need to be told. These kind of stories should not be sugar-coated in any way. And they don't do that. And I can't thank them enough for it. These two people are the people that I wish this world had more of. That other people in this world had access to. They're the type of people that make the world a better place. Not just for themselves, but for everyone that they come in contact with. And that's rare. It's very rare. Anyway, Brian, Kendra, thank you so much. I love you both. It's that time of the show where I say thank you for listening. And please go follow us on all your social media, podcast, YouTubes, all the other things that you can follow us on. If you want to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, LinkedIn, just look up at What Makes Us Fire. Connect with us. You'll find out a lot of the things that we're doing, a lot of the things that are going on. You can see the content that I make, and you can meet the What Makes Us Fire family in person. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. There you'll be able to see the beautiful faces behind the weird voices, or the weird faces behind the beautiful voices, or like I said before, in my case, just the weird face, weird voice. We still need subscribers on YouTube, so that's why I'm saying it. Anyway, moving on. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can email me at whatmakesusfire@yahoo.com, or you can go to whatmakesusfire.com. We have a contact us section on the bottom of the main page. Just fill it out. We'll get back to you. Also, whatmakesusfire.com is the website for you to find out about the nonprofit, the 501c3 nonprofit. Let me make sure I say that right. As well as make a donation, which we need your help on. You can sign up to be a reoccurring donor. You can make a one-time donation. Any and all donations help us move forward to achieving our goal and our mission. And we greatly appreciate anything that comes our way. If you are, or if you know someone who is looking to make large donations on a yearly basis, you own a company, you're a CEO, you want a tax write-off, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you, or have them reach out to me. I would love to talk to them. Either way, What Makes Us Fire is looking for all the help we can get. If you feel like you're in a crisis and you need someone to talk to, or you need help and you need to get off that ledge, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 100% free, anonymous, and confidential. Make the call. Get yourself off the ledge. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, the number is 1-800-273-8255. If making the phone call and talking to somebody just isn't up your alley, that's okay. Guess what? I have another route for you. SuicidePreventionLifeline.org. There you'll find a multitude of resources, things that you can use to help you get better. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, NationalSuicidePreventionLifeline.org, in no way, shape, or form sponsor the What Makes Us Fire podcast or the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit. In saying all that, everybody, be the best version of you that you can be. Strive to be like Brian and Kendra Ward. The people that when you just see them, you're happy. You smile when you see them because you know they are nothing but love. We need more people like that. I'm trying to become like that. Those are the type of people that are going to make the positive change in the world. You are the type of people that are going to be the positive change in the world. Just remember, it's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay there. You got to start working through it. And that choice is up to you. Much love to you, What Makes Us Fire. Peace.